have one of the largest selections of refrigerators in the state of Mississippi. And at Cowboy Maloney's, we feature Frigidaire. You can get Frigidaire refrigerators from 14 cubic foot all the way up to 20.
The countdown is over. Apollo 11, the movie, is coming up next. Tonight on The Fam Sunday Night Movie Event, a Family Channel original world premiere movie presentation. Where were you on July 20th, 1969? Witness mankind's greatest adventure, a voyage billions of years in the making. Apollo 11, the movie.
We land here, the Sea of Tranquility.
This is the big one, gentlemen. We're going to be the first to put a man on the moon. I don't have to tell any of you what this means in terms of national pride.
Russians are moving very quickly. Delay would be a public relations crisis. We've got to be first.
The question is, can we be ready in 7 months?
We can't afford another devastating fire like Apollo 1. And we can't leave any of our men stranded on the moon.
Gentlemen, there are too many unknowns, and we need to eliminate as many of them as we can.
From a medical point of view, there's still a lot we don't know about the effects of weightlessness. And we know nothing about how 1/6 gravity might affect the crew.
This is a national priority.
Who'll fly then?
I'm offering it to Borman and his crew.
All right, then, assuming Dr. Berry clears them, we're scheduled to launch July 16th. So let's get to work on Apollo 11.
Right. Let's do it.
Now it is time to take longer strides. Time for a great new American enterprise. Time for this nation to take a clearly leading role in space achievement, which in many ways may hold the key to our future on Earth. I believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal before this decade is out of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the Earth.
Convince the communists that we cannot be defeated by force of arms.
I have a dream that my poor little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today.
The divisions, the violence, the disenchantment with our society, the divisions, whether it's between blacks and whites, between the poor and the more affluent, or between age groups or in the war in Vietnam, that we can start to work together. We are a great country and a compassionate country.
Is he here? Excuse me, Mr. Armstrong. Sir, Deke Slate needs to see you now.
Oh, okay. Lola?
Mr. Armstrong, go right in.
Deke?
Hello, Neil. Neil, Borman turned it down.
Why?
Didn't think there was enough time to train his crew. What do you say, Neil? Can you do it?
$7 months.
6.5. And we think the Russians are ready.
My crew?
Whoever you want. You're the commander.
Oh, I trust my men, Deke. Mike and Buzz, we can do this.
Good. Very good.
You realize what this will do for our country?
Yes, I do.
Neil, you're going to the moon.
Thank you, sir. But I also have to get us back.
Yes, this is the college resident. Who? Associated Press? No, I'm sorry. He's not here right now. How do I feel? I'm gonna have to call you right now. God, Buzz, I'm so happy for you.
Well, then could you put that down and come out here?
But the first flight, I thought you wanted to take a later one.
Oh, Neil! Oh, my God! Neil, my God! Oh, my God, I knew to kiss you. I knew it.
You're going to the moon.
What? No, I knew there was a possibility, but... Oh, man, this is good. This is good.
It's an amazing honor.
Exactly. It's everything we've ever wanted.
Well, it's everything you've always wanted, not to mention your father.
Oh, Joan, come on, please.
Well, have you told him yet?
No, I haven't told him yet. I wanted to have this moment with you and the family first.
I'm sorry.
Kids, come in here! Come in! Andy, Katie, Michael! Your dad's going to the moon!
Bang zoom to the moon!
Oh, yeah, that's right. Bang zoom all the way to the moon.
Aren't you excited?
No, I am. I really am.
What?
It's funny, though. I don't know why, but I always knew I'd get there. Maybe not in 6 months, but sometime.
Who'd have thought that in my lifetime I'd shake the hand of Wilbur Wright, the first man to fly, Charles Lindbergh, the first man to solo the Atlantic, and now Edwin Aldrin Jr., my son, the first man to walk on the moon. And well, you will be the first. Neil's the commander, you're the LEM pilot. The pilot's the one who leaves the ship, correct?
Dad, don't push this one. The decision hasn't been made yet. I'll do whatever's best for the mission.
That's right. You walking out first is what is best.
Look, Dad.
Let me tell you one thing, Buzz. No one, I mean no one, remembers the second man who stepped on this great land after Columbus. You remember that, son.
Get it.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
To the landing on the moon.
To the landing on the moon.
I mean, between the networks and Life magazine. Oh, my, and then there are all the functions and the dinners and the appearances. You'd think we were the ones that are going to the moon.
I can't watch.
What do you mean?
Well, ever since Apollo 1, ever since the fire, I can't watch the launches.
What do? You don't watch. No, I just listen to the radio.
Excuse me, Deke.
Not now, okay?
Deke, we have really got to do something about this. Every flag company in the country is sending us a free sample, hoping the guys will plant theirs on the moon. Oh, and there is more coming in every day. I'll be glad to handle it for you.
You've got more important things to do.
I would really like to be helpful.
Lola, I'm late, and it's not a priority.
But
Neil, which one of you will be first on the moon?
That decision hasn't been made yet.
It's not a question of personal desire. It'll depend on what's best for the mission.
Neil, how does it feel to be the loneliest man in the world, to get so close but not set foot on the moon?
I am honored to be on this crew. Would I like to walk on the moon? Sure. But remember, I'm still going most of the way.
Mike, won't there be times during the lunar orbit when you'll be completely out of contact?
Yes, it's not possible to get a radio signal to me while I'm on the backside of the moon.
Neil, given the war on poverty and the war in Vietnam, how do you justify the expense of this moon race?
My job is just to get us there and back.
Hey, Neil, what is the most dangerous part of the flight?
Anything we've overlooked.
Can you really be ready in 6 months?
Absolutely. No question.
So from here on out, guys, we're going to be living, eating, breathing simulations so we know everything that could go wrong. More important, how to fix it. Any questions? Okay, let's do it.
Okay, ready, crew? Okay, let's do it, Vic.
4,000 feet.
4,000 feet? That can't be flight. They gotta be lower than they think. Radar failure?
Got to.
Okay. Recommend pitching over for an altitude check.
Eagle Houston, we recommend you pitch over for a visual altitude check.
Houston Eagle, pitching over.
Houston Eagle, I've got a visual. What the?
Now.
My monitor's down. What do you mean it's down?
I don't know. It's gone.
3,500.
25 seconds. Come on, men. Work the problem. Work the problem.
3,000 feet.
Don't forget the 3-second time delay.
2,500. 2,500. Houston Eagle. Advise altitude.
Got it. 10 seconds.
Houston, advise.
5 seconds.
Put my screen up on the big display.
$300. Eagle Houston, advise 300.
300. Can't be this reads 2,000. Less.
Abort! Abort! Eagle Houston, we advise abort.
I refuse to die this way.
We've got 5 months.
We'll be ready.
Pretty confident.
What's the alternative?
Russians beat us?
Well, if they do, it won't be because of my man.
I froze. I killed him. And now Neil and Buzz are
scattered all over the moon. And the Russians will beat us, and NASA will lose its budget, and the Republic will fall, all because of you. Well, you're one cold-hearted. Yes, I am. I have to be. Because we're responsible for getting our men to the moon and back, and nothing is going to get in our way until we accomplish that goal. So stop being a cocky little jerk and learn from your mistakes. It was a tricky sim. No one expected they'd throw the circuit breaker, much less combine it with landing radar failure. It took me too long. Well, next time you'll do better. There won't be a next time. I can't do this flight. Every time I think about their wives and kids, cut it out. You don't have the luxury to feel sorry for yourself. We don't have the time. Can't you put me in the back room? I don't belong in the trench. My soul's shaky. I'm not good enough. Kid, none of us are good enough. That's why we practice. To handle the problems under pressure. There'll always be problems. Nobody builds a perfect machine. And the pressure, it's just gonna get worse. Yeah. That's what I'm afraid of.
Hi, I'm Christina Ferrari, and it's time now for our first Apollo 11 sweepstakes question. This is your chance to win a family trip for two to Space Camp or an Apollo 11 jacket just like this one. To win, simply answer this question. Who was the president of the United States when Apollo 11 landed on the moon? If you know the answer, call 1-800-FUN-TO-WIN right now. The first two correct callers are winners. Good luck and stay with us because another chance to win is coming up really soon.
You're watching FAM. This portion sponsored by Genuine Chevrolet, the cars more Americans trust.
Chances are, you're going to put more money into their teeth than your Chevy Lumina. Because today's Lumina is so low maintenance, it can actually go 100,000 miles before its first scheduled tune-up. And for you, that's one less thing to worry about. The cars more Americans trust.
How do you pick up a sandwich without a lot of fat and calories? Pick up a pickle, a Vlasic pickle. Tune up your tuna. Pick up your turkey. No fat and almost no calories. Awesome. So remember, pick a Vlasic. All flavor, no fat.
Want to make lunch where your cleaner cleaned or where we use Clorox cleanup?
Mine's fine.
But look what it left behind.
Mine doesn't disinfect?
No, but cleanup with Clorox bleach kills bacteria and viruses, so disinfect while you clean with Clorox cleanup.
Announcing the Adventure Discovered Sweepstakes.
I've been shopping, big time. It's all right here on my Discover Card statement.
Use your Discover Card, and you could win everything on Boyd Matson's statement.
Patagonia. It's me. 2 tickets on American. My new Jeep.
Plus, you'll join him on
a National Geographic filming expedition.
It's the grand prize in the Adventure Discovered Sweepstakes.
Well, I've done my shopping. Have you?
It pays to discover. Use it where you see the Novus sign.
With VTech, kids think they're simply having fun. But what they don't realize is that they're actually developing their minds. That's the beauty of VTech learning toys. They teach.
Parrot begins with the letter P.
And challenge.
How do you spell monkey?
And entertain.
Cat.
We believe VTech can help your child go further in life. Just how far? Only time will tell. VTech, designed to develop minds.
Looking for a better way to carry food? Try Pyrex Portables, the only one with thermal packs to keep food hot or cold for hours. Pyrex Portables, the way to go.
When the rain didn't stop for 12 hours, I didn't think it could get any worse. Then when the floodwaters came and washed away everything we'd worked our whole lives for, I still didn't think it could get any worse. Then when the waters receded, and all I wanted to do was pick up the pieces, that was the worst. I forgot. Our homeowner's insurance doesn't cover floods.
Flood insurance from the National Flood Insurance Program covers you from the damage caused by floods. Call now, because while most disasters in the United States involve floods, most homeowners' policies don't cover flood damage.
How are we ever going to pay for this?
Flood insurance is easy to get. Just call your insurance company, agent, or this number. The National Flood Insurance Program. We can't replace your memories, but we can help you build new ones.
And now, back to the world premiere of Apollo 11, the movie.
Ready. Initiate launch.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have liftoff.
Tower clear.
Do it.
What's up? Advised?
Booster.
Checking flight.
Rocket hard over.
Booster.
Come on, guys, abort.
Port.
Booster. Booster.
Abort.
Guys, I think we're dead.
Come on, people, stay with it. We gotta be ready. Okay, what happened?
It was a simulator, guys. They sped up the time.
We play it as it happens, people. That's their job. They're gonna throw us curveballs, fastballs, sinkers, anything and everything to prepare us for what may happen. We all make mistakes. That's how we learn. We all want the mission to go, but not if it means losing men. Okay, let's do it again. See what else these guys got cooked up for us, huh?
No mercy, guys.
Who's asking for it?
What the hell is going on down there?
We're working the problem.
What is the problem?
It's not good enough. We've got to make some changes.
There's no one better than Krantz.
This isn't Washington, Marty. We do
Something's
things
got to be done.
differently
We
here.
can't be delayed.
Wait a second. What do you really care about?
This mission.
I don't think so. I don't think you do. Because maybe you've never had to tell someone that their husband isn't coming home because he burned to death on a launch pad, but I have. And I know damn well how scared people are in this country and what'll happen to us if the Russians beat us. But none of that means a thing to us when our men are on the line. We'll be ready. But if we're not, then we'll delay. Got it?
I would never suggest we'd ever do anything.
Then let's get back to work. Take a load off. What can I do for you?
Well, you know me, Deke. I'm not much for politics or maneuvering, so if it's all the same to you, I'll just say what's on my mind. About who walks first. On the Gemini flights, it was always the pilot that left the spacecraft.
Made sense. Two-man crew. Commander stay with the ship.
Exactly. As with the lunar module.
The LEM is different. Originally, only one man was going to go out, scoop up some dirt, and climb back in.
Right, but now that we'll be doing more elaborate experiments, I'm just curious, what's the determining factor? It's not a matter of qualifications. We're both qualified. See, I've been hearing rumors that NASA wants Neil to go first because he's a civilian. Which, as a military man like yourself, I have to say I find that pretty insulting. But, of course, I only want what's best for the mission.
You all do, Buzz. I appreciate you coming in. Thanks. Whatever decision is made, count on it. It'll be what's best for the mission.
Right. Thanks, Steve.
No, it's not the exact same thing. We haven't been given one opportunity.
Hi, George. Sorry to interrupt.
I'll be in a minute, all right? What's up?
Well, I was just talking to Deke about this whole who goes first issue.
Didn't know there was one.
You know, there is because they haven't made a decision yet. And since we're the ones involved, I figure what we think should carry some weight.
Yeah.
As opposed to leaving it all up to the bureaucrats.
Right, but Buzz, I know this is difficult, but I'm not unaware of the historical significance here, okay? And at this point, I'm not prepared to make any decision that's going to rule me out. All right? Guys, we are 2 months away, and we still haven't practiced flying the LEM.
It's too dangerous. Neil, you're sitting on top of a jet engine, for God's sake.
It's an accident waiting to happen.
Well, better here than on the moon.
Okay, sir, remember, 4 minutes of fuel is all. Be careful, the bedstead's temperamental.
Good. Good luck, sir. Thank you. Got nerve, I'll give him that.
Yeah, let's go.
Mission fire complete. Leveling off. Everything's looking good. Thrusters are good.
15 is good. It's off, that's off.
Starting pitching over.
Eject! Eject! Eject!
You're bleeding. You're bleeding, sir. Bit my tongue.
Yes, sir.
I know. I was talking to George about that this morning.
Colonel Aldrin?
fuel. We really have to economize.
I was going to talk to Deke about that. Lola, is he in?
Hi, Lola.
I'm sorry, Mr. Armstrong, he's out, but he'll be back in a minute.
Hi, Lola.
Hi again, Colonel Aldrin. But, sir, you have to fill out these expense reports.
Oh, come on. Now?
I know it's a pain in the
Well,
neck,
this is-
sir. Colonel Aldrin, they need you in Delaware tomorrow, 0800 hours, for a pressure
That'd be a
suit
mistake. I
fitting.
can't possibly. I
No,
have to be here for the
sir, no
simulator.
mistake. I just got the call.
Oh, Lola, no.
sir, no.
It doesn't make any sense. Neil, did you hear about this?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Lola, you got any Cokes?
Oh, Mike, Dr. Barry's waiting.
Lois, Deacon.
He's worried about your
Mike, what's
eyes.
that, Mike? How's it going with the new docking?
Not good.
I thought we worked the problems out on that.
Are you back in a minute, Mike?
Tell Dr. Barry that my eyes are still in my head and I can see just...
Lola, where is
I know
Deke? I
that.
got to get back to the simulator this afternoon.
In a minute now, sir.
Mr. Armstrong, Dr. Barry needs to see you too, please.
Yeah, well, tell Dr. Barry I'm commander of my own probe. All right?
Mike, you have to be at Langley tomorrow morning, 0900 hours, to test the new simulator.
Did you hear this about the new docking, Neil?
Lola, what is this?
Please. It's nothing. I'll get you that Coke.
Lola, I'm using your phone to call home.
Oh, I forgot to tell you.
Mike, boss, listen to this. The Russians have cleared the Luna 15 probe for launch.
Your wife called. She said that your son was bit by a dog.
What?
They're afraid the dog might have rabies.
Oh, rabies is
God,
bad.
we really got to get
Rabies,
moving.
you know.
Where's Deke, Lola? I thought you said he was going to be here. We got to get
Any
going.
second now,
Tell
sir.
Dr. Barry that I am...
You guys
I don't
listen to this?
Hold it!
Good. Good. Thank you. We're all in this together, remember? So let's stay calm. You three, come on in. Got a lot of work to do.
Eagle Houston, your go for power descent.
Okay, let's do it.
Throw them 10 degrees off course. Current altitude is at 46,000 feet, continuing.
What's going on?
Houston, I just lost my controls. Houston, advise. What's going on out there?
I'm sorry, guys. The computers are down.
Unbelievable.
I don't understand. If they can't get the computers to work, how could they send you...
The system is overloaded. We'll figure it out.
Well, can't you bring a bigger computer or something?
Joan, you know they can't do that. Every extra pound means extra fuel, and the LEM can't hold it.
So what are you going to do?
I don't know. You know, we got the Russians pushing hard, and they're getting closer. So, of course, Washington's breathing down our necks. Well, science takes time, and nobody's giving us any.
Buzz, relax.
Oh, I'd love to relax, but right now I gotta get the LEM to work or we don't go to the moon. I did get the rendezvous to work, now I gotta get the LEM, this flimsy tinfoil contraption, to the moon and back to the command module in one piece. And if there's one mistake, if there's one miscalculation...
Buzz, you have always managed to make things work.
Yes, I have.
So you'll do it again this time.
I'll have to.
You will. You will.
Mike, do you read? Columbia, come in.
Control is off. Houston, respond. Mike?
Mike, it's okay. I'm here.
Oh, Pat. I just saw something terrible.
Tell me what happened.
Joan and Jan, they were just sitting in our living room. And I walked in. And I told them that I left their husbands on the moon. I had no choice. There was no way to save them. There never was any way for me to save them. And I got down on my knees. And I begged their forgiveness. And they reached down. And they said, our husbands loved you, Mike.
Come here. It's all right.
Honey, if anything goes wrong, I'm coming home alone.
Just watch us now. Beginning December 1st, from our family to yours, every day's a holiday on the Family Channel.
The 25 days of Christmas is something brand new. Just watch and see.
3 world premiere movies, more than 50 specials, 126 holiday events, 25 special days.
You're home for the holidays. The new Family Channel. Just watch us now.
They say Christmas comes but once a year.
I hate Christmas.
But my son is reliving the same Christmas day
It's been Christmas every day for the past 3 days.
every day
You're like Bill Murray in Groundhog Day?
until he makes it the perfect day.
It's like the Christmas episode of The Twilight Zone.
Robert Hayes, Bess Armstrong, and Eric Von Deeten.
No!
A world premiere holiday comedy for the whole family. Beginning December 1st, it's Christmas Every Day on the Family Channel.
Only by going alone in silence can one get into the heart of the wilderness. All other travel is mere dust and hotels and baggage and chatter.
Don't look now, but the biggest thing in movies is headed your way. This is Starz Movie Channel, with only the best movies in prime time. More exclusive first-run theatrical movies than any other movie channel. Not B movies, not bad movies, just the best movies at the best times. Like Apollo 13, Pulp Fiction, Babe, and Mr. Holland's Opus. So let other movie channels promise you the moon. We give you Starz. It's everything you could wish for. To order, call 1-800-758-5555. Only the best movies become Starz.
Your child has a fever, and you have to take her temperature where? But a Braun Thermoscan instant thermometer takes the temperature here in just 1 second. Safely, accurately. Your whole family will love it. Braun Thermoscan.
If the most consistent thing about your oven is its inconsistency, then it's definitely time for the remarkable new Whirlpool range. The one with the AccuBake system, so food always cooks evenly. Lots of food, too, because only Whirlpool has a range with an oven this big. At Whirlpool, we make cooking easier and more pleasantly consistent. Whirlpool.
Making your world a little easier.
A friend of mine told me, try America Online. I said, why? I've got a computer. He said, try it. You'll see. It's simple. Every time you sign on, welcome. It tells you if you've got mail. You've got mail. Want to send some email? Type the message, click here, and it's done. I like this. With one click, I can browse all kinds of great features on America Online. I've gotten help with my golf swing, planned my next vacation. I even get stock price updates every 15 minutes. America Online has over 100 newspapers and magazines, everything from Business Week Online to Cycle World, and I can browse them all. With America Online, you can point and click your way across the internet. And their web browser makes it easy to explore the World Wide Web. Call the toll-free number and you'll receive your free startup kit and 50 free hours to look around. It's worth a try. You'll see.
Try the new America Online. Call 1-800-216-8600 for your free startup kit and 50 free hours. Call now.
We now return to Apollo 11, a Family Channel world premiere movie event.
Mr. Armstrong, what do they expect? You know, I've been running around this country talking to Boy Scout troops and Rotary clubs, promoting NASA. I don't have time for this.
Honey, you knew it was just a matter of time before the press was going to
No, not these guys. No, we have a contract with Life magazine. I don't know who these people are. Get out of here!
I'm sorry. It's just with all these distractions, we're not even close to being ready.
So tell NASA that you want a delay.
No. All right, maybe we could use more time, right? But would we get it? And then once there's a delay, you know what happens. The speculation starts. What's happening? What's wrong? And then the pressure just builds even more. What if the Russians sneak past us? What if they do it? What if they beat us there because our crew couldn't stand the pace?
What happens if something goes wrong that you could have prevented if you had more time?
Oh, come on, Jen. You think I don't think about that?
Neil, well, will you please just tell me what I can do to help?
Trust me. I will do what I can to minimize the risks. But we both know delaying won't make them go away. Now, if we're not ready, we'll wait until August. But if I tell you that we are ready, you have got to believe me. Okay?
try.
You'll see. Just keep your eyes closed.
Now?
Now.
Oh, my God.
Okay.
It's your choice, Lola. Whichever one you pick flies on the moon.
Buzz, I'm sorry. Neil's the mission commander, and he's been flying longer. He's going first.
Okay, good. Decision's been made. That's what I wanted. Now we can concentrate on what's important.
I won't stand for it.
Just forget it, okay?
I have friends at the Pentagon who have something to say about this.
I'm a military man. I follow my orders.
Orders can be changed. I'll make a call.
No! No more calls! You've been pushing me my whole life. You know, I was only 15 years old when I graduated from high school. I had to be the youngest to graduate West Point. And when I finished third in my class, that wasn't good enough for you. You know, I had to be the youngest pilot to earn his wings. And when I received my doctorate at MIT, that wasn't good enough either because you wanted me to be a test pilot. And now I'm going to the moon, and even that isn't good enough. What difference does it make if I'm first or second? I'm your son. Can't you just be proud of me?
Hey, Neil. What are you going to say when you land on the moon?
I tell you the God's honest truth, I haven't thought about it.
Well, you better think of something.
Why? I don't remember Columbus saying anything memorable.
Yeah, you're probably right. But Columbus didn't have to deal with ABC and CBS and NBC and Time Magazine and Life Magazine.
Okay. I guess I'll have to worry about that, too.
Which one are you going to land on?
As fighting escalates outside Saigon, President Nixon airlifted more troops into the...
Mike, will you be ready?
I don't know.
Well, will you delay?
Honey, please don't worry.
Hey, why would I worry? I mean, NASA wouldn't have picked you guys if they didn't have absolute confidence. I mean, there's too much at stake. That would be just craziness. They would just send you up in machines that don't fly. You know, they have like the best engineers in the world, and I'm sure they've worked out all the problems, right?
Everything is gonna be okay. You can watch this one on TV. There's not gonna be a fire, nothing's gonna blow up. Everything's gonna be fine. And this is gonna be my last mission. It's over after that.
But you could be a commander on a later mission. You could walk on the moon.
Pat, I don't need that. When we pull this off, I'll be happy. It'll be enough. I want to spend some time with you and the kids.
You just make sure that you get home.
I'm fully prepared to delay if something isn't ready or if we're pushing these men too hard. If that's the case, we'll reschedule for August.
If we delay, we'll be handing this mission to the Russians.
We know how you feel.
Gene says his controllers are ready. What's Armstrong say?
He says it's tight, but they're up to date. They want to go.
They're strung out, exhausted.
What does delay get us?
Another Sputnik.
Gentlemen, do we launch on the 16th?
Yes, delay.
Go.
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 So be it. We go.
Honey, I'm just signing them because they're going to be worth some money.
I don't want them, Buzz.
Put them in a safe place. It's like an insurance policy. It's financial protection for the family if God forbid.
Buzz, no. I don't want them. I don't want to look at them. I don't even want them in my house, okay? So just get them out of here. I love you. I want you. I want the man I love to come home to me.
And I am going to come home to you. Now, don't worry about that. Huh? Kids, get over here. Hey, Andy.
Bang zoom, Daddy.
Yeah, bang zoom.
This is never going to leave my side. And I'm going to put it right in there.
Daddy, wait! Daddy, wait! I want to go with you.
Tell you what. Let me go first and make sure it's safe. Okay? Huh?
You guys take care of your mother, will you?
Hey, Mike. Just do me a favor. Don't bring me back a lousy Moon t-shirt. Okay?
I'll be home right after work.
T-minus 2 weeks to blast off, Cocoa Beach. Shooting out this smoking number to our astronauts in quarantine. Hang in there, fellas.
Comfortable?
Not actually.
Mike!
Did you follow these precautions at home?
No. But my wife and children signed a statement that they have no germs.
Pepe, I want you to go pick up 12 pounds of top sirloin over at Spaccini's, and it's all right, we can trust them. Then you go to Ellie's Market, and you pick up this list of fruit. All right, and you check the fruit for little tiny holes. Maybe some hippie kook has stuck a needle full of poison in them. See, they don't like my astronauts, but by God, my astronauts are going to eat safe food. Oh, when you buy the vegetables, you make sure they haven't been sprayed with any of that DDT stuff. You smell them. You smell them good. And get some real orange juice. None of that Tang stuff. Pepe, you don't tell anybody who you're shopping for. All right, now go. Wait! We gotta be very careful. I'll get it.
Pitching over now for lunar descent. Altimeter?
300. This isn't good. 200. Must be a stuck thruster. Neil? $100 feet, dead man zone. I'm going down. Neil, hit abort. God's sakes, we just crashed. It's unbelievable. smashed all over the moon in 1,000 pieces, and he's still trying to figure out what the problem is. What does he think? That he leads a charmed life? That he's always going to be able to escape at the last second with nothing more than a bit tongue?
Hey, Buzz.
Let him hear. Everyone else did. Everyone knows he failed to abort. Indecisive. And this goes down as a crew failure. Crew. You, me.
Excuse me, guys. It's bedtime for me.
It was my decision.
Yeah, and you failed to make it.
I failed. It's got nothing to do with the crew.
Except I'm dead on the moon.
It was a simulation.
That's an excuse?
I'm not making excuses.
If you're as indecisive as that during powered descent, we're not coming back.
Buzz, what you call indecisive, I call testing my limits. Besides, haven't I always said it's my God-given right to be wishy-washy?
Not when I'm along for the ride.
Perfect. Good job, Pep. They deserve something special for their last meal. Ready? Come in. Taste this. Come on, taste this. You want my astronauts poisoned before they get into outer space? Taste it.
Buonissimo.
Ah,
wonderful.
Very patriotic.
I can't believe Dr. Barry won't let him eat with us.
I know.
Is he out of his mind?
What does he think? Nixon has more germs than all the other people we're exposed to?
Well, you never can tell about those politicians. Look, it got way out of hand. But when the doc went public, I mean, you can see the president's problem. If he comes to dinner and one of you guys gets sick...
Russ will eat him for lunch.
Guys, I'm sorry. If there's anything I could do, I'd do it.
Forget it.
Oh, Tom's here. He'd like a word, okay?
Can we at least eat first?
Sure.
All right, gentlemen, I've heard all about the right stuff, the test pilot's credo, death before embarrassment. I'm here to tell you, forget it. Now, if something goes wrong, I expect you to abort. This mission is dangerous enough without risking your lives because you're embarrassed to fail. No matter how much pressure you feel, no matter how much you want to succeed, nobody dies. Do we understand each other? Keep your heads, and you're the men who will walk on the moon.
Live, following the world premiere of Apollo 11, the movie, meet astronaut Buzz Aldrin. David Hartman hosts From the Moon to Mars, a live special featuring telephone call-ins. Coming up tonight at 9 on the new Family Channel. You're watching FAM. This portion sponsored by Discover Card.
Read my Discover Card statement? Now, this ought to be an adventure. Here's a gift for Betty. She's my wife, my dad, the kids,
kids. The kids.
Shop with your Discover card in the Adventure Discovered Value Book for rebates on Zenith TV accessories, Sony Wonder videos, Braun appliances, and more. Send in your Discover card receipt, and you could get over $240 back.
My brother, Betty's folks, kids, the kids.
It pays to Discover. Look in the mail for your value book.
Kids.
Got a good life, you've come so far, but you're still going. That's just the way you are. It's so exciting, it's so inviting, it's making whoopee. Love to travel, love to dine, a little luxury to help you to unwind. So turn the heat up and pull your seat up and make some whoopee. When you go for a long drive, you know you'll feel like a star. And all this comfort and luxury, that's just where you are. Another ride, there's so much room. Another lovely, lovely afternoon. Don't need a reason, it's just the season for making whoopee.
The brand new DeVille for the time of your life.
This much dirt is a nightmare without Eureka's Dream Machine, the steam cleaner with a full-width motorized brush roll for deep-down fiber cleansing. Powerful suction to dry carpets quickly. Tools on board for above floor. The Dream Machine from Eureka.
Wonders you can only dream about.
You have to imagine yourself as only as tall as my hand.
Worlds you cannot imagine.
It was extraordinary. I was flying.
Ted Danson in the most spectacular entertainment event of the year.
He's a whopper.
Gulliver's Travels has come home on a 3-hour double video cassette from Hallmark Home Entertainment.
Splendid.
Now available at the low suggested retail price of $24.98.
I have a VTech learning pad. I know lots of numbers. And counting super high is such a cinch. I can spell and read all kinds of words on a VTech learning pad.
Welcome to the amusement park.
I can draw on my TV. Look, this is me. This is my brain.
The Learning Pad, new from VTech, designed to develop minds.
Share that holiday feeling. Pass the checks, party mix. Holidays are happy, so share the checks, party mix. The holiday snack that everybody loves to share. Get that holiday feeling. Make some checks, party mix. The holiday snack that everybody loves to share. Nothing says holidays like Chex Party Mix. The holiday snack that everybody loves to share.
Looking for a better way to carry food? Try Pyrex Portables, the only one with thermal packs to keep food hot or cold for hours. Pyrex Portables, the way to go.
Now, back to Apollo 11, the movie, on the new Family Channel.
What so proudly we hail.
astronauts are being informed that the swing arm is coming back. We are go for Apollo 11.
I don't want to watch it. I don't want it. Ugh.
T-minus 45 seconds and counting. T-minus 20 seconds. Guidance is internal. Tower clear.
Retro, go. Fido, go. Guido, go. Surgeon, go. Econ, go. Telcom, go. Ops, go. Network, go.
I'm Christina Ferrari, and it's time now for our second Apollo 11 sweepstakes question. This is your chance to win a family trip for two to space camp or an Apollo 11 bomber jacket like this one. To win, simply answer this question. Who was the second astronaut to walk on the moon? If you know the answer, call 1-800-FUN-TO-WIN right now. The first two callers who answer correctly are winners. Stay with us because we'll be announcing tonight's winners later on in the movie.
The Family Channel and Hallmark Entertainment present a heartwarming story of love.
I'll be here. Always.
Loss.
Cora. You know, I don't think he wants to get better. I'm afraid of him dying, Uncle James.
And renewal.
She put her paws up on the crossbar, just like she was dancing. That was your mama come back to watch over me.
Jessica Tandy, Hume Cronin, To Dance with the White Dog. Next Sunday at 7 on the Family Channel.
Hey, help me figure this out. Usually the more gizmos you want, the more money you gotta spend. Then there's a Chevrolet Cavalier. It gives you a lot of the same gizmos that make expensive cars easy to live with, for about half the price. If you forget to lock your doors, the Cavalier is still protected by a gizmo called the theft deterrent system. If you leave your dome light on, it turns it off. My house doesn't even do that. Get the car that's easy to own, a Cavalier. Genuine Chevrolet, the cars more Americans trust.
Don't look now, but the biggest thing in movies is headed your way. This is Starz Movie Channel, with only the best movies in prime time. More exclusive first-run theatrical movies than any other movie channel. Not B movies, not bad movies, just the best movies at the best times. Call 1-800-758-5555. Only the best movies become stars.
Announcing the Adventure Discovered Sweepstakes.
I've been shopping, big time. It's all right here on my Discover Card statement.
Use your Discover Card, and you could win everything on Boyd Matson's statement.
Patagonia. It's me. 2 tickets on American. My new Jeep.
Plus, you'll join him on
a National Geographic filming expedition.
It's the grand prize in the Adventure Discovered Sweepstakes.
Well, I've done my shopping. Have you?
It pays to discover. Use it where you see the Novus sign.
Don't make things like they used to. Whatever happened to quality?
In my day, we cared about craftsmanship.
How about service?
Dave Lennox founded his heating and cooling company and what was important to customers.
Those things will never go out of style. Trust me.
And the Lennox quality dealer standards make sure you'll get those things from Lennox dealers today.
Of course, you know what I really miss? Those little licorice drops used to sell.
Lennox, one less thing to worry about.
Iams understands that the simple act of petting a dog can make people healthier and happier. It's even been suggested that people who own dogs lead longer, fuller lives. Now, knowing what dogs do for you, wouldn't it be nice to do the same for them? You can, by feeding your dog Iams every day. It's more nutritious because its quality ingredients are more digestible. Iams dog food, good for life, from the Iams Company.
You're not with AT&T, are you?
No, I'm not.
So, are you happy?
Not really.
I was happier with AT&T. Well, we're making it simple to come back. How'd you like to get 100 free minutes just for switching to AT&T? That would be wonderful.
That's a real gift.
Well, there's a lot more. Introducing the new AT&T One Rate plan. Just 15 cents a minute on calls from home to anybody, anytime, anywhere in America.
That's great. It's a flat rate, anytime, anybody, anywhere.
I'm going to presume there's going to be a charge involved.
No, it's free.
It's even better.
No fees, no minimum spending, no time requirements, no restrictions, no games.
You can't beat that.
Call 1-800-YES-2-ATT. You'll get one low rate plus 100 free minutes for switching to AT&T. So what do you think?
I think the 100 free minutes is awesome.
The one-rate plan is excellent. There's no restrictions, no limits.
So what are you going to do?
Pick up the phone and switch to AT&T.
One rate, 100 minutes. Call 1-800-YES-2-ATT to switch.
We now return to Apollo 11, the movie, on the new Family Channel.
Neil, look. Oh, God, what a spectacular view.
It's fantastic. Look at that gigantic crater. Gosh, they're monsters. It's like the picture's only better. Much, much better. Hey, Mike. Mike!
my God, it's huge. Look at that horizon. Oh man, that's pretty.
See that mountain over there? That's a big mother.
I gotta get my camera. Anybody seen a camera floating around?
Apollo 11, Houston. Apollo 11, good morning.
Houston, Apollo 11. Good morning.
We've got news for you. The Russian space probe Luna 15 has preceded us to the moon by a couple of days. Washington is burying the phone line. But don't worry, gentlemen, it's unmanned. And more importantly, it won't cross your trajectory.
Okay, guys, no time for coffee.
President Nixon has declared the 20th of July a federal holiday in celebration of what you men are about to accomplish.
Hey, Buzz, hand me that procedure book, will you?
You guys are pretty much dominating the world news. I'm sure you don't want to hear that. So, in the world of sports, the American and National League All-Stars will be playing ball in Washington. And Mel
Take it easy, guys.
Stottlemyre is expected to be the starting
Conserve your
pitcher
energy.
for the American League. Apollo 11, Houston. We're wondering if you've started into the LEM yet.
Roger, Charlie. They're moving into the LEM now. What are you gonna say, Neil?
Don't know yet.
Good luck.
You too.
I'll keep the house clean while you guys are gone.
Houston, Apollo, hot fire complete. How do you observe? Over.
Eagle, Houston. RCS hot fire looks super. You are. Go for undocking. Over.
Roger.
Hello, Eagle. Houston. We are standing by. Roger. Eagle's undocked.
You got a fine-looking flying machine there, Eagle, despite the fact that you're upside down.
Well, somebody's upside down. Okay, once they separate, your father will go around the backside of the moon, come around, and land in a safe tranquility here, right here.
Eagle, Houston. How does it look? The Eagle has wings.
Okay, Eagle. You cats take care.
See you later.
Columbia, Houston. How do you read?
Loud and clear.
Houston, Columbia. Going over the hill.
See you all in about 40 minutes.
Lock the doors! Lock them! Telcom, cut their audio. Hey, gang. We're really gonna land on the moon today. We're about to do something no one's ever done. Be aware that there's a lot of stuff about the environment that we know nothing about. But be aware that I trust you implicitly. All of you. I'm also aware that we're all human. So somewhere along the line, if we have a problem, I'm here to take the heat. I know we're working in an area of the unknown that is high risk. But we do not think of tying this game. We think only to win. And I know you guys. You've got even a few seconds to work your problem. We're gonna win. Let's get at it. No shaky souls. Forget all those people out there, because what we're about to do now is just like we do it in training. After we finish this son of a gun, we're gonna go out to Gorski's and have us some beer. We're gonna say, damn it, we really did something.
So the dangers, are they pretty into the clear now? I mean...
They can abort any time during the 6 minutes of descent, but that's all the time they've got. And they've got to decide before they hit maybe 100 feet.
It's dead man zone, right? That's okay. You can say it.
Below that, they have to land.
One way or another.
I'm okay.
When, Mom?
Soon.
30 seconds to acquisition of signal.
Got us locked in there, Telcom?
Signal's real weak, Flight.
Just give me enough data for the burn.
Got it. Columbia, Houston, how do you read?
Houston, how do you read? Houston, Columbia.
Listen, babe, everything is just going swimmingly.
Everything is just going swimmingly. Houston, do you read?
That's him!
They're coming in and out, Flight.
What do we got?
Biomed stable, Flight. Heartbeat steady.
Guidance 51233. Guidance looks good. Houston, Eagle, how do you read me? Houston, Eagle, are we go?
Houston, are we go?
Marginal Flight. Still breaking up.
Come on, people. We can't send them down there without communication. Houston, Eagle, are we go?
Eagle, Houston, do you read? Over.
Well, how can they land if they can't communicate?
Live, following the world premiere of Apollo 11, the movie, meet astronaut Buzz Aldrin. David Hartman hosts From the Moon to Mars, a live special featuring telephone call-ins. Coming up next at 9 on the new Family Channel.
Well, we hope you're enjoying tonight's movie as much as we are.
And we've got a great week coming up on Home and Family for you.
Broadway singer and actress Carol Lawrence will be here.
You'll find out how to get your foot out of your mouth when you've made a faux pas. Of course, I never do that.
Yeah, me neither. We're going to show you how to enter the Chuck and Christina look-alike contest.
And you'll get a first look at an electric car that you can actually afford and buy.
All this and so much more coming up this week on Home and Family.
That's right. It's right here on Home and Family.
Ooh, I like your jacket.
Thank you, Emma.
You're watching FAM. This portion sponsored by Chrysler Corporation.
A truck's life is filled with slings and arrows, including the inevitable flying stones and unmanned shopping carts. So we designed the all-new Dodge Dakota with software that optimizes dent resistance. Life on the road may be a battle, But Dakota has superior armor. The new Dodge Dakota. It's full of surprises.
What's going on?
Oh, I was just getting out the Christmas stuff and I found my box of keepsake ornaments.
Oh, go ahead. Test me.
Okay.
This is your first ski trip with your sister.
All right.
Next one.
My rocking horse from when I was
3.
4.
4. No, meant 4.
This Christmas, find the Hallmark keepsake ornaments that help capture your family's memories.
That's the one that always makes you cry.
Announcing the Adventure Discovered Sweepstakes.
I've been shopping. Big time. It's all right here on my Discover Card statement.
Use your Discover Card, and you could win everything on Boyd Matson's statement.
Patagonia. It's me. 2 tickets on American. My new Jeep.
Plus, you'll join him on
a National Geographic filming expedition.
It's the grand prize in the Adventure Discovered Sweepstakes.
Well, I've done my shopping. Have you?
It pays to discover. Use it where you see the Novus sign.
Once you find out the fat in some of your favorite foods, you go, whoa, red light. Well, I want a green light. That's why I love Healthy Choice. Every dish is a definite go. Takeout pizza. Red light. Thick, cheesy Healthy Choice pizza. Green light. Carry out Chinese. No can do. Healthy Choice beef broccoli Beijing. Green light. Philly beefsteak. Thanks for playing. Healthy Choice pocket sandwiches. You get my drift. Healthy Choice. Your green light to eat what you like.
Down to Blitzen. Come in, Blitzen.
Yep.
Kmart big sale underway. Did you cover your half of the store?
Pair of socks, second pair, half full.
Got the same deal on a beautiful flannel shirt.
I got a flannel shirt, too. And a lovely Christmas sweater, 25% off.
White with a big green tree on the front.
Yep.
You were supposed to cover the left side of the store.
This is the left side of the store.
Jeans, flannel shirts, hosiery, buy one at Kmart. The second's half price. What an offer. Where else but Kmart?
1 out of 12 sending replacements.
Wonders you can only dream about.
You have to imagine yourself as only as tall as my hand.
Worlds you cannot imagine.
It was extraordinary. I was flying.
Ted Danson in the most spectacular entertainment event of the year.
He's a whopper.
Gulliver's Travels has come home on a 3-hour double video cassette from Hallmark Home Entertainment.
Splendid.
Now available at the low suggested retail price of $24.98.
Want to make lunch where your cleaner cleaned, or where we use Clorox cleanup?
Mine's fine.
But look what it left behind.
Mine doesn't disinfect?
No, but cleanup with Clorox bleach kills bacteria and viruses, so disinfect while you clean with Clorox cleanup.
Here come the Eureka Bravo 2s, new Boss Plus 12 amp, and our bestseller, the Boss 9.5 amp. Both with tools on board for above-floor cleaning. Bravo 2, easy on your wallet, tough on dirt. From Eureka.
And now, back to the world premiere of Apollo 11, the movie.
Houston, Eagle, how do you copy? Losing them again.
Got a suggestion here. You're all right.
Guys, they lost you again. Suggest yawing right.
Copy that, Mike. Going right. Houston Eagles, are we go?
Houston Eagles, are we go?
Got him.
Okay, guys, this is it. Are we ready? Go, no go for landing. Retro.
Go.
Guido.
Go.
Surgeon.
Go.
Telcom.
Go.
Econ.
Go.
Ops.
Go.
Network.
Go.
Capcom, we are go for landing.
Eagle, Houston, you are go for landing.
Eagle, this is Columbia. You hear that? You're go for powered descent.
Roger, understand. Go for landing.
Ignition.
Eagle, Houston, we show ignition. Losing him again.
Two seconds early. Opposition checks downrange.
Accepting radar guidance?
Yeah, Flight, but they're long.
Looking good. Program alarm.
Guys, did we send that?
1201.
It's a computer overload.
Computer overload?
Should be okay.
Yeah, but if it's not, if the computer's overloading on descent, what'll happen on ascent?
The rule is it's okay if it's not continuous.
Guidance.
Come on, guys.
Why should we abort?
It's recurring.
Intermittently. The computer will only shut down if the alarm's continuous.
Yeah, but how much intermittent makes continuous? Guys!
Guido, it's your call.
Don't forget the radio lag.
Seconds to abort. Give us a reading on the 1201.
We're going that alarm flight. Go. Go!
You're going that alarm.
You're going that alarm.
Roger. Pitching forward. Sea of Tranquility.
3,245 feet down at 110.
1202. 1202.
Guidance. Same type. Go flight.
$1,015. This is not what I had in mind. Boulders.
They've got to find a flat spot to land.
Heart rate up to 156.
412 feet down at 13. 300.
Put it down, Neil. Put it down.
Feet, 6 down.
10% fuel. I gotta get further over there.
feet, 3.5 down.
100 feet, 3.5 down. Maybe there. Maybe right over there.
$75 feet, half down.
Dead man zone. Put it down, Neil. Put it down.
30 seconds of fuel. Seconds.
45 feet, half down. $22 feet. 17 feet, down 2.5. Kicking up some dust.
contact light.
We copy you down, Eagle.
Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
Thanks, Brewster. Hey, you got a bunch of guys blue in the face down here. We're breathing again.
Eagle, this is the original Capcom. I just wanted to say, job well done.
It's not over. Stay, no stay. Booster.
Stay flight.
Retro.
Stay flight.
Fido.
Stay flight.
Guido.
Stay flight.
Surgeon. Econ.
Stay flight.
Kelcom.
Hi, I'm Christina Ferrari, and I'm back with the answers to tonight's Apollo 11 sweepstakes questions. Richard Nixon was the president of the United States when Apollo 11 landed on the moon. And the second person to walk on the moon was Buzz Aldrin. Congratulations to today's winners who will be taking an exciting trip to space camp or will be receiving an Apollo 11 bomber jacket like the one I'm wearing. Thanks for playing, and for more fun and chances to win, be sure to watch Home and Family tomorrow at 1 o'clock right here on the Family Channel.
Next Sunday, the Family Channel presents two of the greatest love stories of all time. At 12:30, travel to a mysterious land where romance fills the air in South Pacific. Then at 4, a handsome cowboy is out to capture the heart of a beautiful woman. Gordon McRae and Shirley Jones star in a romantic classic, Oklahoma. It's all right here next Sunday on the Family Channel.
You're watching FAM. This portion sponsored by V8. Live life on all 8 cylinders.
Are you running on all 8 cylinders?
I'm a runner, a mother, a wannabe computer nerd.
V8 isn't just juice. It's a full serving of the vegetables you need to keep you running on all 8 cylinders.
How many cylinders are you running on?
You told us you wanted a truck with more playful performance. So for the all-new Dodge Dakota, our engineers matched quick ratio steering with a precision-tuned suspension, making it a blast to drive. Now, when Dakota responds precisely to your input, you'll know it's because we did too. The new Dodge Dakota. It's full of surprises.
The clock is ticking.
In 5 days, the invasion hits home.
Look out!
Welcome to Earth.
Independence Day, on video November 22nd at a great price.
Little Caesar's new pizza by the foot is radically different, so please observe a safe turning radius. No. Yes. Thank you and good luck. Little Caesar's new pizza by the foot is radically different, so please observe a safe turning radius. No. Yes. Hey, look out! Thank you and good luck.
I don't think he was paying attention.
Pizza by the foot. Nearly 3 feet of pizza and free Italian bread, just $10.99. Carried out or have it delivered. Pizza, pizza.
At Imes, we know that having a cat can do wonders for a person's health and happiness. It can lower blood pressure, reduce stress, helping us lead longer, fuller lives. Well, now you can return the favor by feeding your cat Iams every day. Cats love its taste, and it's more nutritious because its quality ingredients are more digestible. Iams cat food, good for life. From the Iams Company.
In Disney's Toy Story, now on video, Buzz and Woody have one wild and bumpy ride. But now, their real adventure begins. Talking Woody, Talking Buzz, and RC Racer are at Burger King. Your kids can collect all three, just $2.69 each with any delicious value meal. Toy Story toys, only at Burger King.
Read my Discover Card statement? Now this ought to be an adventure. Here's a gift for Betty. She's my wife, my dad, the kids, the kids, the kids.
Shop with your Discover Card and the Adventure Discovered Value Book for rebates on the Wizard of Oz video, Hasbro toys and games, and more. Send in your Discover Card receipts and you could get over $240 back.
My brother, Betty's folks, kids, the kids.
It pays to discover. Look in the mail for your value book.
Why don't we do it in the road?
No matter what kind of Beatles fan you are, you'll want Beatles Anthology 3. For a limited time, exclusively at Best Buy, purchase Anthology 3 and receive our third collector's CD free, featuring exclusive interviews, a Beatles PC screensaver, and rare unreleased photos. So unless you're bound for London, hurry in to Best Buy.
We now return to Apollo 11, a Family Channel world premiere movie event.
We're getting a picture on the TV.
There's a great deal of contrast in it, and it's currently upside down on our monitors, but we can still make out a fair amount of detail. Okay, Neil, we see you coming down the ladder now.
The left footbeds are only, depressed to the
Like
surface
science
about
fiction.
1 or 2 inches.
It's wonderful.
Although the surface appears to be
Wonderful.
very, very fine grained. As you get close to it, it's almost like powder. Now and then, it's very fine. Step off the limb now. That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
That's one small step for man. Begin to classify one giant
As I spin around the dark side of the moon, I am now truly alone and absolutely isolated from any known life. If a count were taken, the score would be 3 billion plus on the other side of the moon, and 1 plus God knows what on this side. I kind of like the feeling.
That's your dad.
Magnificent desolation. While Neil and I plant the flag, collect rocks, and take pictures, we also leave behind commemorative medals for the 2 Soviet cosmonauts who died in pursuit of the moon, as well as a patch for our friends who died in Apollo 1, Gus Grissom, Ed White, and Roger Chaffee. And as a message to those who may come after us, we set the plaque we'll leave behind. Here, men from the planet Earth first set foot upon the moon, July 1969 AD. We came in peace for all mankind. Very smooth ride. Burn complete.
Now all we need to do is get them docked and get them out of there.
Eagle Columbia. Got you in sight. My God, what a beautiful sight. Just keep coming my way.
We're all yours, Columbia.
Good to have you back.
It's great to be back.
Where's Neil?
Take us home, Mike.
Heading for home, I remember what Kennedy said when all this began. That space,
in many ways, may hold the key to our future on Earth.
an American president's vision. But it was a Russian scientist who told us Earth is the cradle of humanity, but mankind will not stay in the cradle forever. And a British astronomer who once predicted that when man could finally see the world whole, it would forever change how he thinks about himself. All these years, we've been striving for the moon. Maybe in the end, what we've found is the Earth.
Population keeps on bleeding, nation bleeding, still more bleeding economy. Life is funny, skies are sunny, bees make honey. Who needs money more for me?
Coming up next, meet astronaut Buzz Aldrin when David Hartman hosts From the Moon to Mars, a live Family Channel special presentation in just 30 seconds.
Our engineers gave it the largest interior in its class. They made room for the biggest engine available and specified the longest wheelbase. But here's a surprise. It turns in a smaller circle than ever before, which makes the all-new Dodge Dakota just as nimble as the people who created it. The new Dodge Dakota. It's full of surprises.
We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
Our new era of space exploration has begun.
After
hiatus of 20 years, America returns to Mars.
New hopes for knowledge and peace are there. And therefore, as we set sail, we ask God's blessing on the most hazardous and dangerous and greatest adventure on which man has ever embarked. Thank you.
I'm David Hartman. Tonight, we're going to take you on a journey to our future from
to the Earth.
President Kennedy's speech in 1961 marked the beginning of 11 amazing years of exploration that mesmerized our country. Alan Shepard, America's first astronaut to launch into space, a 15-minute flight that began our journey to the moon. After 6 manned Mercury flights came Gemini, 2-man missions that pushed our technology. The first spacewalk, the first rendezvous, the first docking of 2 spacecraft. Then, Apollo, its goal to take us to the moon. But disaster struck. During a ground test of Apollo 1, a tragic fire in the spacecraft took the lives of 3 extraordinary astronauts. But 11 successful manned Apollo missions followed. America put man on the moon and launched a generation of heroes. Our guests this evening are new pioneers of the next frontier. They're charting a path to Mars. This program comes at a very exciting time. Just 10 days ago, NASA launched the Mars Global Surveyor. It will orbit Mars and study it. Another American launch early in December is going to drop a robot onto the surface of Mars. Science fiction is becoming science fact. Will humans land on Mars in our lifetime? Should they? What are the risks? The benefits? What are the costs? Could the money be spent better elsewhere? Where's the leadership? Who will lead this debate? Ask the right questions. We're going to explore all of this with our guest tonight and hope that you will join in by telephone. If you live in the Eastern or Central or Mountain time zones, we are live to you right now. Call us, 1-800-979-3393, 1-800-979-3393. Talk with our guests. And your first question could go to one of the first men to walk on the moon. The year was 1969. The United States was in a space race with the Soviet Union. Apollo 11 astronauts Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Mike Collins were about to make history.
Beautiful view. Isn't that something?
Millions of us around the world watched the grainy black and white TV pictures beaming down from 240,000 miles away. We held our collected breaths as Neil Armstrong became the first human to set foot on the moon.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. Got it?
20 minutes later, Armstrong's size 9.5 footprints were joined by those of the lunar module pilot, Air Force Colonel Buzz Aldrin. For 2 hours and 48 minutes, they conducted the first experiments by humans on the moon. Posting the American flag on the surface was a milestone in our race with the Soviets, but more importantly, it was a triumph for all. Buzz Aldrin, West Point graduate, Air Force fighter pilot, PhD in astronautics from MIT, astronaut, author. Buzz, good to see you.
Good to see you, David.
How are you?
I'm wonderful tonight.
Good. That July 16 decision to launch on that date, we're led to believe there were significant doubts on some people's part about whether to go on July 16th. How significant were the doubts? What doubts, if any, did you have about the wisdom of going on that day?
You know, David, I don't think we had any doubts at all. It seemed like a couple of weeks earlier, there was some question, and while Neil and Mike and I were in a simulator, Deke came along and asked us, and he wanted to know if we felt like we were ready to go. And we sort of polled the crew. We knew that we're probably going to be asked something like this, and we said, no, we're going to be ready to go.
What doubts did anybody else have?
I don't know. They didn't share them all with me. If they had a lot of doubts, they may have. But there weren't any that came in my direction. We were going to go, and we were just moving gradually, day by day, closer and closer to that day.
All right. When we've shown the tape here, of course, of you and Neil on the moon. At Johnson Space Center Mission Control, they flashed, apparently, a sign that said, "Task accomplished," when you guys walked on the moon.
Yeah.
How much of an understatement was that, task accomplished?
Well, you know, landing on the moon is something that had never been done before. And then walking outside, that was the symbolic achievement, really. The task wasn't really accomplished till we got back home again, though.
Right.
That's what the president said.
All right. What were the goals of this particular mission besides just to get you guys there and home again, as the president said, and what did you accomplish?
Well, we had some interesting experiments. There was a laser reflector experiment that was relatively easy to put out that allowed laser beams from the Earth to measure frequency changes and continental drift, believe it or not, of continents back here on Earth. There was a seismometer that was solar powered, and it could detect our footsteps, really. As we moved around, the people back in Houston could hear us walking. When we threw out the backpacks, of course, it made a big echo. But that was, you know, one of the first seismometers there. And then we had a Swiss experiment to detect the solar wind, the particles that are coming from the sun. Right. Even for a brief 2 hours, there were small particles. So we rolled that up and brought that back. And then, of course, there was about 80 pounds of rock, something like that, we brought back.
All right, Sigmund from Pennsylvania is joining us, our first phone call for Buzz Aldrin. Sigmund, hi.
How are you this evening?
Well, how are you?
Very good, thank you.
What's your question for Buzz Aldrin?
Well, I have a question. Those 80 pounds of rocks that came back on Apollo 11 and the rocks that came back on the other trips to the moon, what did they ever show us? Did we learn something other than that the moon really isn't made of green cheese?
Well, we're going to have a geologist on here pretty soon. I'd rather have him tell us a bit more. But they answered a number of questions. The moon was very old. Right. And there wasn't any water there. No indication of that. Of course, no indication of any life at all. But I think the minerals that we found were generally the ones that are here on Earth. Right. And that was expected. The consistency of the dust was, I think, a surprise. It was just like talcum powder. And when they looked at it and saw that it was small spheres of glass, then they realized, well, a little meteorite hits this dust and it vaporizes, and before it impacts again, it cools into these spheres. And they said, oh my gosh, why didn't we think of that?
We have another phone call from Massachusetts. Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. First of all, I want to say it's a real honor to speak with you, Mr. Aldrin. I just finished watching the movie, and in it, there was an issue about whether, you know, you guys, the team was really as prepared as you should have been when you got there. And I was just wondering, did your family know just how dangerous that really was?
Well, I think we all appreciated the risks that were involved. And the dangers, yes, well, I think we all understood those. We didn't belabor those. We didn't sit down and talk about them. But I think we were all aware, and all of us had been in hazardous businesses before, test flying, and I was a combat pilot. I'll tell you, that is real scary situation, because you don't know what's going to happen in combat. What we were doing, we trained for...
Go ahead.
We trained for a lot of emergencies, so we knew how to deal with those.
All right, but when you're sitting on top of the Saturn V, when you shot off the moon, you didn't have the kind of control you did in an airplane. You know the airplane, you know you're ready for emergencies, you know pretty much you're in control. But sitting on top of the rocket, you weren't.
But you got a lot of guys there working with you in the control center.
But we also had, as we mentioned, your friends Gus Grissom and Roger and Ed. With that image somewhere sitting back there, how do you deal with that? How did you deal with that?
You don't think about it. You think about what's in front of you.
Do you really just say, shut it out?
Yes, you have to do that.
Right.
Your mind may wander, and then you focus right back again on what's in front of you.
We'll take more of your phone calls after this break. The number 1-800-979-3393. And we'll also be joined by Harrison Schmitt. He is one of the last men to walk on the moon. Also Corbin Bernsen. He is starring in a new television program about the lives of astronauts called The Cape. We'll be right back.
Beginning December 1st, from our family to yours, every day's a holiday on the Family Channel.
The 25 days of Christmas is something brand new. Just watch and see.
3 world premiere movies, more than 50 specials, 126 holiday events, 25 special days.
You're home for the holidays. The new Family Channel. Just watch us now.
You're watching FAM. This portion sponsored by Discover Card.
Announcing the Adventure Discovered Sweepstakes.
I've been shopping, big time. It's all right here on my Discover Card statement.
Use your Discover Card and you could win everything on Boyd Matson's statement.
Patagonia. It's me. 2 tickets on American. My new Jeep.
Plus you'll join him on
a National Geographic filming expedition.
It's the grand prize in the Adventure Discovered Sweepstakes.
Well, I've done my shopping. Have you?
It pays to discover. Use it where you see the Novus sign.
When did you stop loving me? Have I been a memory? Darling, did you stop loving me?
Christmas is a feeling, and you can have the Christmas feeling all year long with MTM's Family Christmas Classics Special Holiday CD.
Ring ting tingling too. It doesn't show.
Join Home and Family's Christina Ferrari,
And I brought some corn.
Chuck Woolery,
Christmas Eve.
and special guests Kenny Rogers, Pat Moon, Glenn Campbell, and Debbie Boone as they sing the songs that Christmas memories are made of.
Oh, you better watch out.
The Family Christmas Classic CD is the perfect gift for family and friends, and it can be yours for just $12.98 for CDs and $8.98 for cassette. Order today with Visa, MasterCard, or American Express by calling 1-800-608-6111 or mail orders to MTM Music, P.O. Box 2284, South Burlington, Vermont. Bring the Family Channel home for the holidays with the Family Christmas Classic Special Holiday CD.
Ham the Chimp was America's first space explorer. Buzz Aldrin was one of the first men to walk on the moon. Sometimes there might be an advantage to being last. Harrison Schmitt piloted the last lunar lander on Apollo 17. There he is, the last moon mission. So he and Gene Cernan were the last 2 of the 12 men who walked on the moon. And Mr. Schmidt's a PhD geologist, former United States Senator from New Mexico, and has continued to be very active in space policy. Jack, nice to see you again.
David.
Now, you guys were out there, you were just on the moon for a little short of a day, and you only spent a couple of hours plus out there on the surface, right? These guys lived up there.
I know.
Right?
We basically established a base for 3 days.
3 days, and over 22 hours exploring.
Outside the spacecraft.
Outside. Tell us what you did out there, Jack, and we'll be able to look at it. Tell us what you did and what you learned.
We had an absolutely fantastic time being both astronauts and geologists simultaneously. We explored a major part of one of the most magnificent valleys I think one could find anywhere, the Valley of Taurus Littrow, 7,000 feet deep, only about 4 miles wide, deeper than the Grand Canyon, which is one thing that's hard to envision, that we landed right in the middle of that valley. And we also put, I think, the final touches on a general understanding of the moon that came from Apollo, a scientific understanding. We really know the various phases now that the moon went through in its evolution as a small planet, and as a result, we know about the early history of the Earth that we did not know before we went. A lot of people forget that. Even geologists forget that we didn't know much about the early history of the Earth when we went to the moon, but by understanding the moon, which stopped being very active 3 billion years ago, we in turn began to understand the Earth.
All right. You found, as I recall, orange. You saw orange, right? What did that tell you?
We had one particular location that we thought might be a volcano or an impact crater. And in thinking about that, we thought we might see some color, because most people who have seen a volcano, Flagstaff or somewhere like that, have seen that there's color associated with it. Well, we stumbled across this orange soil in what was the rim of an impact crater. So it was a little bit of both, and that kept us surprised and interested for quite a while. It turned out to be volcanic debris, pyroclastic we call it, but volcanic debris like one would find around the fire fountains on the island of Hawaii.
How much have we learned from the rocks? You brought back, what, 250 or so
Yeah, we
pounds
brought
of
back
rocks.
250 pounds in contrast to the 80 pounds from Apollo 11, but we had a lot more time to collect them.
Sure.
And from those samples and the observations and the photographs and other data that was collected during that period, we really did begin to decipher not only the history of the moon, but what the moon was like internally. How was it layered? Was there a core? How did it evolve over time? And maybe most importantly for the future, we found it has energy resources that may be very important to us in the not too distant future.
We've got a call. Don from Louisiana. Hi, Don.
Hello.
How you doing?
Doing good.
Great. What's your question?
I just wanted to ask Mr. Aldrin, is the moon still on the, is the flag still on the moon that they put on there?
Is the flag still on the moon that you put there?
All 6 flags are still on the moon.
And
the only thing that might destroy a flag would be a direct hit by a meteorite, or the gradual modification of the chemistry of the flag by ultraviolet radiation. Somewhere in the future, the flags will disappear. But right now, I think it's a pretty safe bet that all 6 of them are there.
Yeah, you know, David, I think everybody assumes that they're still standing upright.
Right.
But if you've ever seen the blast of the ascent stage, I think you'd realize that there aren't hardly any of them still standing up.
You know, at least the film that we took from Apollo 17 as we were lifting off.
That's the one we usually see.
Yeah, you could see the flag wiggle a little bit, but we didn't see it fall over. So I'm assuming it's still up.
We have a call from Joe in New York. Joe, hi.
Yes, my question is for Buzz and Harrison. My question is, why haven't we gone back to the moon? Is there anything more that we can learn there?
That's a big question. Why haven't we gone back? And we're going to talk about this through the evening. Excuse me.
The second part, I think the first part is the space program really was a Cold War exercise, and most everything started with missiles. And we were in a hurry to get to the moon, so we didn't build reusability into our Saturn rockets. We built just so many so that we felt for sure with this many rockets we'd be able to get there. So we didn't build into the Apollo program sustainability so that we could keep going. And shortly after our mission, there were some discussions about what the future ought to be. And there were some options for even getting to Mars by about this time. But there was not a will in the eyes of the people and in the Congress and in the President to approve this kind of a follow-on program.
Okay, Dan from Florida, hi.
Hi, how are you, gentlemen? It's certainly a pleasure to talk to you.
What's your question?
I have 2 questions concerning the lunar roving vehicle. Number 1, how fast was it able to travel? And number 2, how heavy was it so that it could withstand the zero gravity and be able to stay on the surface?
It weighed about 450 Earth pounds, and with the 2 crewmen on board, you'd have to add another about 650 pounds. So it stayed on the surface. It would have stayed on the surface if it had weighed an ounce, but the biggest fun with the rover was at about 10 kilometers an hour, which was its top speed over fairly level terrain. That doesn't sound like very much, but every time you hit a bump, you're off the surface for the next several meters. So that gets a little bit exciting. Gene Cernan and I had it up to about 18 kilometers an hour going downhill once, and I think we regretted it. It was a little bit too fast.
We're going to go back and continue to ask a lot of questions and learn more about the space program at that time, what was going on with it, and what the plans were for the future. Right now, should we continue to explore space? Why or why not? And we'll take more of your calls. 1-800-979-3393. Right back.
They say Christmas comes but once a year.
I hate Christmas.
But my son is reliving the same Christmas day
It's been Christmas every day for the past 3 days.
every day
You're like Bill Murray in Groundhog Day?
until he makes it the perfect day.
It's like the Christmas episode of The Twilight Zone.
Robert Hayes, Bess Armstrong, and Eric Von Deeten.
No!
A world premiere holiday comedy for the whole family. Beginning December 1st, it's Christmas Every Day on the Family Channel.
Got a good life, you've come so far, but you're still going, that's just the way you are. It's so exciting, it's so inviting, it's making whoopee. Love to travel, love to dine, a little luxury to help you to unwind. So turn the heat up and pull your seat up and make some whoopee. When you go for a long drive, you know you'll feel like a star. In all this comfort and luxury, that's just where you are. Another ride, there's so much room. Another lovely, lovely afternoon. Don't need a reason, it's just the season for making whoopee.
The brand new DeVille for the time of your life.
Want to make lunch where your cleaner cleaned? Or where we use Clorox cleanup?
Mine's fine.
But look what it left behind.
Mine doesn't disinfect.
No, but cleanup with Clorox bleach kills bacteria and viruses, so disinfect while you clean with Clorox cleanup.
What do the experts say about Hi-Ho Cherry-O?
You gotta get all of the cherries in the bucket. 2 cherries. 1, 2.
Hi-Ho Cherry-O, a child's first counting game.
I will play it again. It's so much fun.
On Mondays, the Wilsons always wore blue. On Tuesdays, they always played pinochle. And on Thursdays, they always ate Chef Boyardee. Then one Thursday, a can of new Superiore ravioli accidentally dropped into Mrs. Wilson's bag. Superiore had a richer, redder sauce, firmer pasta, and plumper ravioli. In fact, it's preferred nearly 2 to 1. The Wilsons love the taste so much, they've been known to eat it on a Friday wearing checks. New Superiore from Franco-American. It's not what you're used to, it's better.
Finally, she thought. Kids off at school, husband at work, chores done. All the chores done. Finally, a moment of complete and total freedom. Just her and the dog. Where is that dog, anyway? Sir, it's a dirty job, but somebody's got to do it.
Fundamental truth to our nature. Man must explore.
The technical wizardry that has guided our space program has been nothing short of spectacular, as you just heard David Scott say, but it's very expensive. Should we keep at it? Are there higher priorities for our money? What are the risks? What are the benefits? Valerie Neal is the curator of the Department of Space History for the Air and Space Museum at the Smithsonian Institution. Dr. Neal led the development of the Smithsonian exhibition, Where Next, Columbus, and co-authored a book of essays on exploring space, same title. Valerie, nice to see you. Nice to have you with us.
Good to be here.
David Scott, we just heard say we must explore. Really? Must we explore? If so, why? Why must we explore?
We addressed that question in the exhibition at the museum and found it to be a complex of reasons. Many people think it's in our very nature to explore, that we have a primal need to be on the move, to gain more land, more power, more wealth, to conquer. And in the early years, there was a lot of talk about the conquest of space as if it were indeed part of this primal need to be on the move. We also hear a lot about it being linked to America's destiny, particularly America's destiny, because we've been a nation of explorers. We were founded on exploration, and for almost 200 years now, we have supported it as a people and as a government. But it's becoming more than America's destiny in space. I think people around the world now see exploration as a badge of leadership, something that nations do and people engage in doing because there are economic benefits, there are technology advances, there are benefits to education and general standard of living. And then fundamentally, I think we explore because it's a choice that we have within our power to make.
Where do you think we ought to go? Based on your working with this every day, should we be going to Mars? Should we put robots on Mars? Human beings, men and women, send them up to Mars, or what?
Well, as a historian, I'm more in the profession of looking backwards and analyzing what we have done. As a human being, however, I tend to be an optimist and something of an adventurous. And I think that the movement out into space in our century and in our lifetimes has been a remarkable human achievement. I suspect that as human beings, we'll find it very difficult to turn our backs on that. But I think we need the right combination of circumstances, of ideals and realities, of dreams and practicalities in order to make the best decision about when and where to explore.
And how to make it happen.
And how to make it happen. Right. And I think so far we've been using a combination of robotic explorers and human explorers. Humans are fantastic explorers on the frontiers of knowledge, but on the frontiers of space there are certain risks and difficulties and complications with people. There are also,
and we're going to explore that later, pardon the pun, with a NASA doctor astronaut. We've got a call coming in from Pennsylvania from Marjorie. Marjorie, hi.
Hi, how are you?
Fine. What's your question?
Well, every time we explore, we seem to exploit the places we go to. Are we going into space for scientific gain or to claim territory and natural resources?
Jack, why don't you take a shot at that?
I really think it's both. And in fact, this desire for human beings to explore are really related to our desire to survive as a species. And what Apollo did was bring the moon and Mars into our ecological niche. This is now a much broader niche in which the human species can survive. And if we're going to survive, we not only need this understanding, the scientific understanding of that niche, but we also need its resources. And indeed, the moon has shown us that may well be possible.
All right, but some people might suggest that instead of spending the, hundreds of billions of dollars it will take for us to, let's say, get to Mars, maybe we ought to take that same money and apply it to fixing whatever the problems are, developing our own capabilities here on Earth, instead of going out there and trying to create something out there that perhaps would be more easily and effectively done here. What's the response to that argument that's put forward?
Well, I would say that the response is that we probably could, one, it's not going to take that much money, not nearly that much, and two, it is probably something we have to do because of just the increase in the numbers of people that are going to populate this Earth,
so you're
and
saying,
the consequences of that.
All right, and you're saying we're going to actually perhaps use Mars to colonize?
No, Mars is a somewhat separate case. The moon, though, becomes a very accessible part of our salvation, if you will, here on Earth. Mars is enabled as a consequence of our being able to utilize the resources of the moon in order to preserve our environment here on Earth.
Richard from California, call. Hi.
Good evening. How are you?
Well, how are you?
Very good, thank you. My question is, do you believe that we'll ever find extraterrestrial life? And I mean, isn't that what we're really going out there for?
Who wants to take a grab at that?
I don't want to take it all, but I really think we will. The chances of finding, again, niches on Mars in which very simple life forms may actually have survived since the early history of Mars, I think are very good. All of the geological reasoning that we have right now indicates that Mars had a history not unlike the Earth's in its very early, say, 1.5 billion years, and that in that time we now know that life began to evolve here on Earth, and I suspect it happened on Mars as well. Mars changed, and so life as we know it is not very, it's not a very hospitable place for life as we know it. But nevertheless, I suspect there's some little places where bacterial life may well have survived on Mars.
Sydney in Virginia, hi.
Hi, David, how are you?
Well, what's your question?
I was calling, I wanted to ask Buzz and Jack Bose, if offered the opportunity, would they possibly go to Mars on the mission if they had a chance to go?
If I thought we were going in the next 5 or 10 years, I would probably start training for it.
I am training for it. I'd be happy to go.
Valerie, you want to go?
I would be very interested in going myself, certainly.
Where next to Columbus? It appears from this conversation to be Mars. Is there life there? Was there ever life there? Scientists are indeed looking at evidence that suggests there might have been primitive life there that Jack just mentioned billions of years ago. And we're going to explore that when we come back. What do the last 35 years of exploring space mean to us Earthlings? Watch.
The Family Channel and Hallmark Entertainment present a heartwarming story of love.
I'll be here. Always.
Loss.
Cora. You know, I don't think he wants to get better. I'm afraid of him dying, Uncle James.
And renewal.
She put her paws up on the crossbar, just like she was dancing. That was your mama come back to watch over me.
Jessica Tandy, Hume Cronin, To Dance with the White Dog. Next Sunday at 7 on the Family Channel. You're watching FAM. This portion sponsored by Chrysler Corporation.
Shatter conventional wisdom.
That was different.
Engineer a revolution.
That's cool.
Turn dreams into reality.
It's not exactly for everyone, is it?
That's kind of the point.
Manufacture adrenaline. Open new doors. Fuel the imagination. Blaze new trails. It's how we do things at the Chrysler Corporation. It's how we build great cars and great trucks.
The germs on your hands can come from your nose, and the germs on your ankles can come from your toes. That's why there's an antibacterial Lever 2000 in bar or new liquid body wash. It doesn't just kill germs, it moisturizes for better feeling skin. The germs on your head can come from your wrist, and the germs on your face can come from a kiss. Use Lever 2000 antibacterial bar or body wash on all your 2,000 parts. Keeps moisture in, keeps germs out.
Frosted Cheerios.
Such a sweet and crunchy part of this complete breakfast. This box never closes.
They're delicious. And they're all mine. All mine.
Those wholesome little O's have been frosted for a crunchy sweet taste everyone's into.
Hey, they're frosted.
Hey, we're Clay.
Frosted Cheerios taste so good this box never closes.
Hey, Ma, where are my boxer shorts?
Right here, son.
Now you can get into Joe Box of Boxers from Frosted Cheerios. Free with 2 proofs of purchase plus shipping and handling.
What's that in your hand?
No way, Mom. He was murdered by Colonel Mustard in the dining room.
What's that in your hand?
With the knife.
In the game of Clue, you'll figure out who done it with what and where. Clue from Parker Brothers.
Your smoke detector is at one end of the house. The fire starts at the other. Will your family get out? A First Alert smoke detector on every floor in every bedroom doubles your chances. First Alert says every floor, every bedroom, because every minute counts.
How an ancient rock found its way from Mars and it got to Earth after billions of years to have this rock tell the people of America and the world an amazing story.
With those words from Daniel Golden, the NASA administrator, space and space travel became hot news again. 13,000 years ago, a meteorite fell to Earth from Mars. It was found in Antarctica in the mid-1980s. But just recently, with a new high-powered microscope, scientists learned the meteorite contains what appears to be a fossil of a very tiny bacteria. It suggests there may, repeat may, have been very primitive life on Mars 3.6 billion years ago. Now, are those microscopic images enough reason for man to try to go to Mars? With me to talk about that, Apollo 11's Buzz Aldrin, Apollo 17's Harrison Schmitt, Valerie Neal from the Smithsonian Air and Space Museum. And by the way, you can still call us, 1-800-979-3393. And joining us now on the telephone to talk about this Mars possible fossil find and our objectives in space is the Associate Administrator for Policy and Plans for NASA, Alan Ladwig. Mr. Ladwig, hi.
Hey, David.
How are you?
Good.
Good. How much did this, what we just showed and talked about, this possible fossil from the meteorite from Mars, energize your programs?
Well, I think it energized it tremendously. And it wasn't just this Mars fossils, but it's also what we've been finding out on Europa, one of the moons of Jupiter, with the potential of liquid water that might be under the ice crust there. The recent discovery by different telescopes in Hubble of planets and other solar systems, the pillars of creation that Hubble found, where we found these evaporating gaseous globules, the eggs, which are the embryonic stars in formation, the possibility of water under the poles of the moon, all the public excitement about the Shoemaker-Levy comet impact on Jupiter, the things that have been happening with the shuttle and the Mir space station docking, the advances in aeronautics, the understanding of the ozone because of our mission to planet Earth. I mean, NASA is on a roll of discovery over the past couple of years that is pretty awesome to be involved with, and I think is showing the public the value of the space program.
All right. What are your priorities then? To what extent has this possible fossil find from Mars suggested to you, okay, we're going to do more in the area of Mars. We're going to think about sending human beings to Mars. That part of your plan and program or not?
Well, NASA has a strategic plan that goes out to the year 2020, and we've had one of the four enterprises, or the main reasons we're in business. One of those is space science, which takes care of our robotic exploration. Another is the human exploration program. Another is aeronautics, and the fourth is mission to planet Earth. So within the space science enterprise, we've had a plan of Mars discovery and exploration, and we have 10 missions lined up over the next 10 years. Now, the excitement or the difference that the fossil find will make on this is, should we accelerate any of these things? Should we try to have a sample return mission, for example, sooner than we had planned? Where do humans and a human mission fit into this mix?
What are the answers to those questions you just asked?
Well, we're still asking them. I mean, this is all, I mean, the announcement about the fossil just took place in August. Right. So our strategic plan has been under development for the past couple of years. We will have a space summit, or the administration under President Clinton is sponsoring a space summit with leaders of Congress and NASA officials to discuss what do all these findings mean and how do we accommodate this within the current budget situation that we have. Can we do the things that the American public wants out of its space program, plus do these new exciting things that have happened because we've been successful with our discovery?
How do you go about doing that? How do you justify the things that you want to do in space exploration? How do you justify the costs of that given all these other priorities that we have as a nation and or we have in the world?
Well, for one thing, we're talking about $1 trillion federal budget. NASA's budget is about $13.7 billion. That's 1/7 of 1% of the federal budget. At the high point of the Apollo program, and if your audience was watching the movie earlier tonight, at the high point of our ability to do those things, we were at 4.5% of the federal budget. So we're dealing now with a much lower budget profile, yet we have all these new opportunities because of new technologies, because of discoveries that have occurred, because of the contributions we're making to the economy, to education, to the environment, to exploration and discovery. I don't think we have to apologize for any of the money that has been spent for NASA.
I wasn't asking you to.
We are an agency that has an impact on the public of the past, the present, and the future, and I don't know of many other federal agencies that can make that claim, and certainly can't make it for the dollar value that they're getting out of NASA.
Alan Ladwig, thank you very much. Good to have you with us tonight.
Thank you.
Thanks. And we have a phone call from Mike in Arizona. Mike, hi.
Good evening. How are you tonight?
Well, how are you?
Good. First of all, let me say I'm a
grew up with the space program, and I'm a great supporter of it. But my question, and I think it's maybe been answered already a little bit, is to Mr. Schmidt. And basically what I'm wondering, if we spend the kind of money that we're trying to spend for the next 10 years, what kind of benefits are we going to reap by going to Mars and coming back?
Mike, I view it somewhat differently than just a trip to Mars. I'm looking at how the human species establishes itself in this part of the solar system beyond the Earth. And the way you do that is by bridging to the moon first. And once you are capable of living and working on the moon, then you have enabled yourself to go to Mars, and for whatever purposes one might have. The primary one, I think, is settlement. The next great human adventure for the species is the settlement of the moon and Mars. That is the adventure. The practicality of it is that we're going to need the resources that the moon has, particularly the energy resources here on Earth. We can get into that maybe later, but there are those resources. It looks as if that they are sufficient, that the private sector may well be the group that makes it possible. We do have budget priorities. I've been there. I know what is thinking in the Congress is all about. And NASA is going to have a very difficult time, as is all discretionary spending, in justifying to the Congress the expenditure of any kind of dollars as the entitlement programs begin to make their demands.
Thank you for that call. Thanks, Jack. And Buzz Aldrin had a big ticker tape parade in New York when he came back from the moon. There probably will not be a ticker tape parade for our first heroes returning from Mars, because they're robots, and we're going to meet one live and in person next after them.
We've got a great week coming up on Home and Family.
Broadway singer and actress Carol Lawrence will be here.
You'll find out how to get your foot out of your mouth when you've made a faux pas. Of course, I never do that.
Yeah, me neither. We're going to show you how to enter the Chuck and Christina Look-alike contest.
And you'll get a first look at an electric car that you can actually afford and buy.
All this and so much more coming up this week on Home and Family.
That's right. It's right here on Home and Family.
Ooh, I like his jacket.
Thank you. I'm a pilot.
Read my Discover Card statement? Now, this ought to be an adventure. Here's a gift for Betty. She's my wife, my dad, the kids, the kids.
Shop with your Discover Card in the Adventure Discovered Value Book for rebates on Zenith TV accessories, Sony Wonder videos, Braun appliances, and more. Send in your Discover Card receipts, and you could get over $240 back.
My brother, Betty's folks, the kids.
It pays to discover. Look in the mail for your value book.
Little Caesar's new Pizza by the Foot is radically different, so please observe a safe turning radius. No. Yes. Thank you and good luck. Little Caesar's new Pizza by the Foot is radically different, so please observe a safe turning radius. No. Yes. Hey, look out! Thank you and good luck.
I don't think he was paying attention.
Pizza by the Foot. Nearly 3 feet of pizza and free Italian bread, just $10.99. Carried out or have it delivered. Pizza.
It takes 43 face muscles to make a frown. But if you drive a Lumina LS, you won't have to worry about using any of them. Because Lumina LS can go 100,000 miles before its first scheduled tune-up. No 6-passenger car in its class can offer you as many standard safety features for the price. And best of all, you can afford it. The cars more Americans trust.
You don't get better than Carol Burnett. You just don't. The body of work is extraordinary, you know, and to get to watch her play with Harvey Korman and Lyle Wagner, Vicki Lawrence, Tim Conway, we watch you. We know. We love you, baby, don't we?
Carol Burnett and Friends, weeknights at 6 on the new Family Channel.
Doesn't get any better than that.
Join Dick Clark and Ed McMahon as they celebrate the best and most elaborate practical jokes with Stevie Wonder, The Capes' Corbin Burnson, Johnny Carson, Dick Butkus, and many more. It's the greatest practical jokes of all time. Monday at 8 on the Family Channel.
Robert Urich stars in a heartwarming story of dedication, determination, and love. An all-new Family Channel world premiere holiday movie event, The Angel of Pennsylvania Avenue, premiering December 15th on the new Family Channel.
After a hiatus of 20 years, America returns to Mars, not just with one mission, but this is the first of a series of 10 spacecraft going to Mars.
One of the chief architects of this massive effort is the manager of the Mars Exploration Program Office at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, JPL, and she is Donna Shirley. Dr. Shirley, Donna, nice to have you with us.
How are you?
Great. How are you?
Good.
Good.
We're on our way to Mars. We're happy.
You're happy?
Yes.
We're going. We're actually going?
We are going. Mars Global Surveyor launched last week, and Mars Pathfinder, which is sitting here, is going to launch in about a week.
All right, Surveyor first.
Yes.
And it's on its way? It's doing well?
It's doing well.
What's it going to do?
It's going to go into orbit around Mars and take pictures. Some of them will be able to see things the size of a car in some of the pictures. It's going to map the whole planet every day. It's going to look at the clouds.
How long does that take?
A Mars day is just about like an Earth day, 40 minutes longer than an Earth day.
How long will it take to map it?
Oh, about two Earth years.
2 Earth years.
Once it gets there. It has to get there first.
We've got some animation here. What is it we're looking at?
Okay, let's see.
Or we'll be looking at. With any luck. Yes, we are.
Okay, well, this is Pathfinder. This is the one that's going to launch December 2nd. And this shows how it's going to land. Boy, that's really speeded up.
Okay.
And it lands on Mars, opens up like a flower. The rover stands up and crawls off much slower than that.
Right.
Goes and can climb over rocks, as you can see, even rocks that are almost as big as it is. It's smart enough so it avoids rocks that it can't go over.
Wow.
And it measures the elemental composition of rocks with that alpha proton X-ray spectrometer that you see there right on the back.
Did you hear how she said that? Just.
I've said it 1,000 times.
I'll bet. Now, is this the actual size?
Yes, this is actual size. This is all we can afford.
Now, what's it going to accomplish? What's it going to tell us?
Okay, this rover is going to tell us what Mars is made out of. The alpha proton X-ray spectrometer actually measures the chemistry of the rocks, and so we'll be able to see if there's titanium or iron or aluminum and how much of it there is. Plus the lander that you saw very briefly in the movie when it opened up like a flower has a camera that takes pictures in stereo and 12 different colors, so we'll be able to see the colors of the rocks, which will tell us the mineralogy. Also, the rover has cameras. There's a little camera on the back there right next to the alpha proton X-ray spectrometer. I don't even think it's that little thing right up at the top there. If you raise the camera a little bit, there it is. See the little circle right at the top? That's a camera, and so we'll be able to peer very closely at the rocks and see the crystal structure in the rocks. But with all that information, we'll be able to tell what Mars is made out of.
Buzz, what do you think of all this technology?
Gee, if we'd had something like this, maybe Neil and I didn't have to go there.
Well, this isn't quite as smart as you and me.
Not quite as smart. Thank you.
Or
Thank
as
you,
agile.
Donna.
Or as agile.
Let me.
Or as clever.
Yesterday, the Russians launched a Mars rocket to go to Mars.
Yes, they did.
What happened? It didn't work, but
well,
what happened?
It was a terrible tragedy for the entire space program, frankly, and of course for the Russians. It was a total disaster. But it launched on a proton rocket, very reliable rocket. It had a first stage, second stage, third stage, all worked fine, and evidently the fourth stage just burned out prematurely, and it never left the Earth orbit. It went into orbit around the Earth instead of going on to Mars, and then I understand it just recently splashed down in east of New Zealand.
All right, what is lost scientifically in all of these plans? How much is lost as a result of that?
Well, it's really, the Russians have been working on this since they were planning to launch in '92, then they wanted to launch in '94, and they finally got it together to launch in '96. But it's not just a Russian mission. There were 20 different countries participating in that mission. There was a very big, competent, good German camera. There were 20 different experiments on board. There were going to be 4 landers, 2 small stations that would land rather like the picture of Pathfinder there, and then 2 penetrators that were going to plunge into the surface and measure a couple of meters deep down under the ground and measure what conditions are like down there, and it's all gone.
Slowed us down.
Yeah. Well, it was going to be very complementary with the Mars Global Surveyor spacecraft and the Pathfinder spacecraft.
We have a phone call. Hello.
Hello, yes.
Hi.
Hi. Question that I have is when we do our experimentation on Mars, do we have any plans of determining the geologic age of the planet? And is there maybe an expectation it would be close to what the age of Earth is, say 4.6 billion years?
We're not actually going to be able to age date the planet with Pathfinder or with MGS. We'd need to get a sample back to do that. But fortunately, we have some samples of Mars, which are called the SNC meteorites, or the SNCC meteorites that Alan Ladwig mentioned and when he was talking about the find. And those have been dated at 4.5 billion years old, and on down to about 3 billion years old is some of the younger ones. And so we believe that the age of Mars and the age of the Earth are very much the same.
Nancy, Massachusetts, hi.
Hi. I was wondering how you know the meteor that was found in Antarctica, how you know that it actually came from Mars.
Well, I'll take a stab at that, and then maybe Jack would like to correct me. But there are isotopes, which are things which there's a number of protons, and then there's a different number of neutrons. So you have a little heavier or a little lighter. The isotopes in the rocks that we believe came from Mars are nothing like the rocks that came from the Earth. Furthermore, they're not as old as the oldest rocks in the solar system, which would be like the asteroids. They've been worked. They've had volcanic action on them. So we know they had to come from some planet. The most likely planet is Mars. Plus, some of them, they found air bubbles of gas trapped inside that's just like the composition of the gas that was found by the Viking lander in 1976.
Donald, Louisiana, hi.
Hello. Good evening. My question is for both astronauts. How long does it take to get from launch to out of the Earth's atmosphere, and how many miles is it? And is it a rough or difficult ride in and out of the Earth's atmosphere? Thank you.
Buzz, go first. You were first.
Well, as I recall, it was a very smooth ride. The G-forces build up, and I think it was something on the order of 11 minutes.
It takes about 10 and a half to 11
until we were
missions.
in orbit, and that, of course, is outside the atmosphere by quite a bit. I'd say you're outside the atmosphere in the first 4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah, we go to 90 nautical miles, and had 4 Gs was our maximum Gs on liftoff. And then coming back, though, in order to make sure you're captured, you have to
by Earth's gravity.
By the atmosphere.
Oh, by the atmosphere.
By the atmosphere, you actually the spacecraft is going at least ours was about 35,000 miles an hour. I think Buzz's was a little bit slower than that.
Feet per second.
But
miles an hour.
Miles an hour.
Right.
I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what. Because at any rate, whatever that speed was very large, and we actually could fly the spacecraft. It had a lift vector for those people that are aeronautically inclined, but we oriented that lift vector so we actually dug into the atmosphere so we wouldn't skip out. That would ruin your whole day to skip out. But in order to do that, we ended up pulling 7 Gs. So that was actually the highest G loading of the mission.
After the robots going up to Mars, maybe it's going to be our turn. Will we actually do that? That's coming next. And while we go to this break, consider this. We have not exactly been model citizens. We left behind a lot of trash up there. Take a look at what has been left and lost in space.
Saturday night, there's a new game in town.
Game of chance, gentlemen.
And these lucky folks are caught in a bidding war.
Well, I feel responsible. You are responsible. I wouldn't go that far.
James Garner's losing his hand to the new Maverick. Then at 10, her husband is taken captive by the communists.
I want your husband out of China more than you do.
And only one man can save him. Clark Gable and Susan Hayward in Soldier of Fortune. Maverick at 8, Soldier of Fortune at 10. Saturday night on the Family Channel.
I heard about this car that's supposed to be safe for you and your kids, but it's so expensive you probably couldn't afford to have kids and that car at the same time. How about a Chevrolet Cavalier? It comes with a safety cage, dual airbags, even standard anti-lock brakes. So for around $12,000, you really can get everything you want in a safe car, including kids. Who decided that only people who can afford expensive cars should be safe? Get the car that's easy to own, a Cavalier. Genuine Chevrolet, the cars more Americans trust.
What do the experts say about Hi-Ho Cherry-O?
You gotta get all of the cherries in the bucket. 2 cherries. 1, 2.
Hi-Ho Cherry-O, a child's first counting game.
I love playing again. It's so much fun.
It was a huge idea. He'd be on time, and the pants would get dry. Sometimes he thought, I'm so smart, it's scary. Sir, it's a dirty job, but somebody's got to do it.
Here's the thing. Most long-distance plans, very complicated.
Oh, yeah.
But the AT&T one-rate plan, very simple.
How simple?
Calls from home are one low rate all the time.
How much?
It's 15 cents a minute to anybody in America at any time.
And this is AT&T?
That's right.
One rate all the time?
Exactly.
Is there any time when this is not the rate?
There is no time when this is not the rate.
I don't get it.
Am I just being unclear?
No restrictions, no games. The AT&T one-rate plan.
What does it take to make tap water taste like this? Very little. The ingenious filter inside the Brita water filtration pitcher virtually eliminates lead and chlorine. Tap water becomes clear, fresh, wonderful water. Brita. Tap into great taste.
Things in life can change like that. All that work, and it's gone. But Farmers Insurance can help you get things back to the way they once were. That's why everything we do, from the way policies are written to the way claims are handled, revolves around getting you back to that point. Isn't that what insurance is supposed to do? Hey, wires can short out. Toasters can catch fire. These things happen. But with Farmers, we can at least help get you back where you belong.
Now, some people think that the first Mars landing might look something like that. Our guests have varying views on the best ways to survive on Mars. Joining us now are the most knowledgeable and vocal cheerleaders for humans to Mars is Dr. Robert Zubrin. He is head of Pioneer Astronautics. He is a space exploration, well, this is a space exploration research and development firm. He has written a book, The Case for Mars, The Plan to Settle a Red Planet, and Why We Must. Dr. Robert Zubrin. Dr. Zubrin, nice to meet you.
Thanks for having me on the show.
Now, I understand that you have been called the de facto chairman of the Underground Mars. How did you achieve this title? What does that mean?
Well, I've been called lots of things. So I guess I can live with that one. I'm an astronautical engineer by trade, and I used to do mission design for the Martin Company, which is the company that built the Surveyor probe on the way to Mars. And
but it sounds like you've achieved this as a result of doing all your work on this Mars Direct plan.
Well, yeah. I mean, back in 1989, President Bush called for an initiative to send humans to Mars, and the Space Exploration Initiative. And that was basically derailed when a huge NASA team, which basically had too many cooks in it, cooked up a giant mission plan for doing it with giant spaceships going to Mars built on giant orbiting platforms.
Very expensive?
$450 billion in 30 years, and they killed it. And
so you created a plan of your own?
Yeah, well, what happened was we at Martin put together a team of people, 12 people, called the Scenario Development Team, and I was one of them, to come up with an alternative plan that could do it in a much quicker, much more cost-effective way. And what I and another fellow named David Baker came up with was this Mars Direct plan, which, see, the key is this. See, Mars is rich in resources. That's why it's so interesting to explore, but that's also what makes it feasible to explore. You got a planet whose atmosphere is the ideal feedstock for making rocket fuel and oxygen. And most of what the NASA giant spaceship was sending to Mars was the rocket fuel and oxygen it needed to come home. So if you take a page from the books of our pioneer forebears and adopt the kind of travel light and live off the land philosophy, you can do this mission much cheaper, much quicker. I would say...
you would say, go ahead, sorry, you say go directly to Mars, skip the moon, right?
Well, you can't skip the moon because we've already gone to the moon. Well. But look, we're in much better position today to send people to Mars than we were to send people to the moon in 1961 when John F. Kennedy started the moon program. I mean, when Kennedy announced the moon initiative, we had 15 minutes of manned spaceflight experience. We didn't know if human beings could eat in space. Okay? It takes 6 months to fly to Mars. Shannon Lucid just spent 6 months in space, and by the way, came down in great shape. Okay? So we know that we can get people to Mars. Now, we don't have every single piece of hardware right now that we need, but overall, okay, we've got 80% of the technology we need, and we could easily have the rest if we want to.
When do you think, I mean, if you could reach out with a magic feather and say, okay, I'm going to get the money, I'm going to get the technology, the national commitment, everything that's needed to get human beings on Mars, how long could it be done? How soon could we get human beings on Mars?
I think that if we did it the way I think it can be done and should be done, it's entirely feasible to launch the first part of the mission, which is an unmanned part, an Earth return vehicle that you send out to Mars to make its return fuel on Mars, send that in 2005, and send the crew after it in 2007, and they'd land in 2008. And we could do this.
That's 12 years from now. Buzz, how much sense does this make to you? You've studied this stuff, you've just written a book, science fiction book, but a lot of fact in there. How much sense does Dr. Zubrin's plan make to you?
I think Bob is right on when he talks about using extraterrestrial resources and not taking the fuel to Mars, using the atmosphere of Mars and or other means to produce the return fuel. And I think we can get there a lot sooner maybe than a lot of people think. But I think we need a deliberate way of getting there. I think we need to guarantee sustainability. If we're going to go to Mars, I don't think we should go once, twice, 3 times, and then pack up our bags and say, that's too expensive. I think we have to build in reusability, and that means reusable heavy lift rockets, and that means reusable spacecraft that are going to and from Mars.
Who has to do what in America and or around the world to make this, all of this business of space exploration, Mars, whether it's more robots on Mars or putting human beings on Mars, who has to do what to make this the kind of priority that we will, as a nation and or globe, commit to do it?
Well, there's a space summit happening in January between the President and key members of Congress to address specifically the space budget. Because right now NASA's budget's dropping precipitously. It's just going down like crazy, and we're not going to be able to do much of anything. So if they can recover the budget, I think that's what the first thing that has to happen is the budget has to be sustained. The second thing that has to happen is we have to learn to do things cheap. And I wanted to point out that we are now making robotic Mars missions for the price of motion pictures. The Pathfinder mission and the Mars Global Surveyor mission cost the same as the movie Waterworld, and the ones that we're sending in '98 are going to be half that price. Now, we apply those same principles to human space flight. We can get the cost down by an order of magnitude, and I think we'll be well on our way.
And when we come back, maybe we'll find out about what if we bring the private sector into this, what might happen, but that's a whole other question. Another question, can we survive on Mars? Can we even get there really safely and in very good health? Shannon Lucid, Dr. Zubrin, just talked about recently did spend 6 months in space, weightless. What did the doctors learn from that experience of hers? We'll find out from a former astronaut doctor right after this. If you feel cheated that you might not make it into space during your lifetime, consider this. Maybe you can go after your lifetime. A private company is marketing what it calls celestial burials. They tell us that cremated remains will be launched into space. Before their deaths, Gene Roddenberry and Timothy Leary, among others, signed up. The company's press release suggests this, quote, "You'll orbit the Earth until you vaporize like a blazing shooting star in final tribute." End quote.
Next Sunday, the Family Channel presents 2 of the greatest love stories of all time. At 12:30, travel to a mysterious land where romance fills the air in South Pacific. Then at 4, a handsome cowboy is out to capture the heart of a beautiful woman. Gordon McRae and Shirley Jones star in a romantic classic, Oklahoma. It's all right here next Sunday on the Family Channel.
You're watching FAM. This portion sponsored by Genuine Chevrolet, the cars more Americans trust.
Like all Americans, I like big things. Big prairies. Big forests and mountains. Big wheat fields. And everything else.
Your smoke detector is at one end of the house. The fire starts at the other. Will your family get out? A First Alert smoke detector on every floor in every bedroom doubles your chances. First Alert says every floor, every bedroom, because every minute counts.
The clock is ticking. In 5 days, the invasion hits home.
Look out!
Welcome to Earth. Independence Day, on video November 22nd at a great price.
Was I upset? Very. But I handled my thinning hair in a mature fashion. I put a hat on my head, ran to my sister and said, "Tell me this is not happening." She said some women do lose their hair, just like Aunt Beth. But now there's Rogaine. It goes to the root of your hair and for some people gets it to grow. And now you don't need a prescription to get it, so go get it. Rogaine's starting to work, and I'm thinking before long, I can get rid of all these hats. Rogaine, medically proven to regrow hair.
Wonders you can only dream about.
You have to imagine yourself as only as tall as my hand.
Worlds you cannot imagine.
It was extraordinary. I was flying.
Ted Danson in the most spectacular entertainment event of the year.
He's a whopper.
Gulliver's Travels has come home on a 3-hour double video cassette from Hallmark Home Entertainment.
Splendid.
Now available at the low suggested retail price of $24.98.
How does a rock star carry a tune? Where do realtors list their houses? How do accountants keep track of their numbers? Inside Cambridge Businesswear, of course. Sophisticated designs, affordably priced, to keep you organized and on top of business. No matter what business you're in. Cambridge Businesswear, as important to the way you look as the clothes you wear.
In the early days, our astronauts were all young men, fighter and test pilots. Well, not anymore. Shannon Lucid is 53 with a doctorate in biochemistry. When she returned to Earth last month, she'd set an American space endurance record, 188 days aboard the Russian space station Mir. Her mission was to conduct medical and physiological experiments on humans living in zero gravity. The results of these space longevity tests are key in learning just how long humans can stay in space and how to stay healthy there. And joining us by telephone now, doctor and astronaut Dr. Bernard Harris. And he is not just an observer. 2 shuttle missions to his credit, 438 hours in space, and he walked. That's a funny way of saying it, but he did an EVA, extravehicular activity out there in his spacesuit. He has been there. Dr. Harris, hi.
Good evening, David.
Doctor, what can you tell us? I know that you have retired from NASA, but what can you tell us about Shannon Lucid's condition when she came down from the 6 months of weightlessness?
Well, I can't tell you anything specifically about her because I did not follow her case per se, but I can give you an idea by my experience. We know from the work that we've done in the early program and also in the shuttle program that, for example, we lose about 1% of bone a month. Shannon spent 6 months up there. So one could theorize that she lost about 6% of her bone, in addition to muscle changes, atrophy, and also changes in her cardiovascular system or her heart system.
How realistic is it? I mean, we've been sitting here talking about going, human beings going to Mars, and assuming that it's a 6-month trip out, a 6-month trip back, but spending anywhere from 1.5 years to 2 or 3 years on the surface of Mars, how realistic is it to think that physiologically a human being would be capable of doing that, given what we know now about medicine and taking care of ourselves in space?
Well, as you know, we're still in the process of learning a lot, and the mission in which Shannon just completed, in addition to the missions that we did in the shuttle, and also the Russians who have a lot of experience in long-duration flight, has kind of given us an idea of what to look out for. And right at the top of the list is bone turnover, the loss of bone, and the consequences of dumping large amounts of calcium into our blood system. Development of kidney stones, development of calcium in other spots. In addition, just the sheer loss in muscle performance and strength puts into question, if we don't have countermeasures, on the way to Mars of even being able to walk on the surface. So there are a lot of issues out there, and I think that we'll be able to overcome them for this mission.
How realistic is it to think that by the year, say, 2008 or 2010, we'll be able to solve those problems?
I think they're pretty realistic. We have the International Station that'll be going up in a few years. We'll have an opportunity to have an orbiting laboratory up for 7 days a week, 365 days a year, and we'll get a lot of answers to these questions. And let me say this. In terms of all of the changes that we know of, the major changes that would impact us for a trip to Mars, exercise as a countermeasure seems to help in many ways. It helps to maintain calcium, helps to maintain muscle mass, it builds up the heart. So you can bet there's going to be a strict regime of exercise on the way to Mars.
Dr. Harris, thank you for being with us tonight.
Thank you.
And we have a phone call from Kim in New York. Kim?
David, it's Jim.
Jim, I'm sorry. Jim, hi.
Hi, David. My question is for really any of your guests, and it really is sort of long range. Who should or who will own any resources or discoveries made on Mars or other planets? And is there anything in the works in regard to international agreements?
I can take that one partly. We already have in place international agreements about the science information. The science information belongs to the world. And as a matter of fact, when we have our 2 missions at Mars next year, as soon as we get information, it's going on to the internet. It'll be on the World Wide Web, available to everybody. As far as owning resources, I don't think that's going to be a big issue, because I think, frankly, the only way we're going to be able to do these things is internationally. And it's like, Buzz and Jack can talk about the moon.
Well, I'm not sure that it has to be an international governmental effort. It may be an international private sector effort. But right now, the status of space law is that it's permissive. The Space Act of 1966, or the Space Treaty, Outer Space Treaty of 1966, pretty much left it permissive. It's not unlike the situation that we deal with in our public lands, where you can extract a resource and own the resource, but you can't own the land.
Buzz, how important is international cooperation that Donna mentioned, Jack has mentioned, that we all have to do this together if we're going to get it done?
International cooperation doesn't always make it cheaper. A lot of times it's a lot more expensive to bring all these people together. But I think from an overall standpoint, one nation is just not going to be able to mount a mission to Mars. It's going to have to be a joint thing.
How is that, Valerie? What's going to happen? Who has to do what to create a kind of process that's going to lead to this becoming a reality and not just being a conversation?
I think that in addition to the technological challenges and the political process, we're probably going to need to create a metaphor for the venture, as we had in the 1960s, the very strong metaphor of pioneering the frontier of space. And that metaphor worked in the 1960s when we were venturing out into an area where we hadn't gone before. It hasn't been as compelling an image while we've been in Earth orbit, because we're in familiar territory. That metaphor could work again for missions to Mars. It was a metaphor that I think appealed to the public as well as to the politicians and the administrators, because it captured this sense that we have of ourselves as a nation of explorers. It captured our sense of having a pioneering heritage. There was romance, there was adventure, there was idealism and optimism, a sense of risk and challenge, but of an opportunity to succeed. And
who has to lead the way? Who has to lead the way to create this kind of leadership to get that kind of reaction?
Yeah, well, let me just say this. We've got a decision point coming up right now with this Space Summit. This Space Summit was called not just to address the general question of the NASA budget, although that's very important. It was called by President Clinton directly after this discovery of evidence of life in the Martian rocks. And we have a chance right now to actually get a Humans to Mars program initiated, to actually expand the program from simply robots to something that goes a lot deeper with actual human explorers. And if people who are listening to this show want to make this happen, want to have a space program that is pioneering new worlds again, What they need to do is write a letter to Vice President Gore and tell him, I want a Humans to Mars program. I want to go beyond doing, Earth to orbit missions over and over and over again. I think that our space program should be opening up new worlds. I want a space program that's going to inspire my kids.
I think we have to be careful. We sit back and always anticipate that government's going to lead this. There well may be the private sector as the leader for this kind of an initiative.
How realistic is it to think that the private sector could do it faster and perhaps better and/or more inexpensively than government?
I think it's highly realistic, particularly where there are resources of value involved, and particularly the fusion or solar energy resources that can be obtained on the moon can be utilized here on Earth, not only as a more efficient way of producing energy, but also to protect the global environment as an alternative to fossil fuels. So there is a private sector potential initiative there that could enable everything else.
All right, excuse me, Dr. Zubrin, we've got to go, but we'll be back. We're not leaving. Is science fiction becoming science fact? Another aspect to all of this, and we'll be back with Dr. Zubrin, among others.
Beginning December 1st, from our family to yours, every day's a holiday on the Family Channel.
The 25 days of Christmas is something brand new. Just watch and see.
3 world premiere movies, more than 50 specials, 126 holiday events, 25 special days.
It's home for the holidays. The new Family Channel. Just watch us now.
Your child has a fever, and you have to take her temperature where? But a Braun Thermoscan instant thermometer takes a temperature here in just 1 second. Safely, accurately. Your whole family will love it. Braun Thermoscan.
Remember the fun of ants in the pants?
Ants away!
Now you can pass it on to your kids. Flip all your ants into win. And who could forget, don't spill the beans.
Careful, Grandpa. You spill the beans, Grandpa.
Pass on the fun of ants in the pants and don't spill the beans.
Read my Discover Card statement? Now this ought to be an adventure. Here's a gift for Betty. She's my wife, my dad, the kids, the kids, the kids.
Shop with your Discover Card and the Adventure Discovered Value Book for rebates on the Wizard of Oz video, Hasbro toys and games, and more. Send in your Discover Card receipts and you could get over $240 back.
My brother, Betty's folks, the kids.
It pays to discover. Look in the mail for your value book.
When did you stop loving me? How have I been a memory? Darling, when did you stop loving me?
The Family Channel and Hallmark Entertainment present a heartwarming story of love.
I'll be here. Always.
Loss.
Cora. I don't think he wants to get better. I'm afraid of him dying, Uncle James.
And renewal.
She put her paws up on the crossbar, just like she was dancing. That was your mama come back to watch over me.
Jessica Tandy, Hume Cronin, To Dance with the White Dog. Next Sunday at 7 on the Family Channel.
They say Christmas comes but once a year.
I hate Christmas.
But my son is reliving the same Christmas day
It's been Christmas every day for the past 3 days.
every day
You're like Bill Murray in Groundhog Day?
until he makes it the perfect day.
It's like the Christmas episode of The Twilight Zone.
Robert Hayes, Bess Armstrong, and Eric Von Deeten.
No!
A world premiere holiday comedy for the whole family. Beginning December 1st, it's Christmas Every Day on the Family Channel.
We're back with From the Moon to Mars. Now you science fiction fans can get your turn. Writers, of course, have been fascinated with visions of colonizing Mars for decades. Buzz Aldrin has put many of his theories into a fictional book just published, Encounter with Tiber. And on the phone joining us, author of a trilogy on Mars, Red Mars, Green Mars, and Blue Mars. And he is Kim Stanley Robinson. Hi, Kim.
Hi, David.
Kim, you write about terraforming and how important it is. What is terraforming?
Terraforming is a kind of macro engineering where you go to a planet that has the basic elements necessary, and Mars happens to be an excellent candidate for this, and you add heat and you bring the frozen water that's there up to the surface and create an atmosphere and a surface that would sustain life, earthly life.
Kim, how much of your book would you say is fact, and how much of it is fiction?
Well, my book is fiction entirely, but it's based upon this recent work that's been done by Dr. Zubrin and others in the notion of terraforming, actually applying the mathematics and the physics to the inventory of elements that we now know are on Mars since the Viking missions. And so I have taken that work of the last 20 years and applied it to a scenario of colonization and then later terraforming over the course of about 200 years.
How realistic is it, do you think, for humankind right now to think that in the next, say, 20 years we're going to put human beings on Mars?
Oh, that's very realistic, David. It's doable with technology we have now, so it's just a matter of deciding to do it and then paying for it.
Kim Stanley Robinson, thank you. It is good to have you with us tonight. And I would ask you, Buzz, you know, you've done some writing here. How much do the engineers, the technologists, if you will, the scientists, look to the fiction writers over the years, the Asimovs and now the Kim Stanley Robinsons and others? How much attention have they paid?
I think we've been inspired right from the beginning. Jules Verne, H.G. Wells, all these people that opened up our imagination for us. And Arthur Clarke blended in a realism in his recent writings. I've just gotten through reading 3001. Now that's off into the future quite a bit, but I really think science fiction stimulates the imagination and our creativity.
When we come back, the next generation of astronauts.
Nobody loves the dentist.
Especially when he's a suspect.
Think that I murdered Adam Evans.
It's Columbo's trickiest case yet.
I think the dentist did it, but I don't know how.
James Reed stars in the Columbo mystery movie, coming up next on the Family Channel.
Robert Urich stars in a heartwarming story of dedication, determination, and love. An all-new Family Channel world premiere holiday movie event, The Angel of Pennsylvania Avenue, premiering December 15th on the new Family Channel.
Shatter conventional wisdom.
That was different.
Engineer a revolution.
That's cool.
Turn dreams into reality.
Not exactly for everyone, is it?
That's kind of the point.
Manufacture adrenaline. Open new doors. Fuel the imagination. Blaze new trails. It's how we do things with the Chrysler Corporation. It's how we build great cars and great trucks.
Snuggle, what do we need? Well, a little bit of everything that makes spring, spring.
Springtime freshness is at its peak in every bottle of new Spring Blossom Snuggle.
If the most consistent thing about your oven is its inconsistency, then it's definitely time for the remarkable new Whirlpool range. The one with the AccuBake system, so food always cooks evenly. Lots of food, too, because only Whirlpool has a range with an oven this big. At Whirlpool, we make cooking easier and more pleasantly consistent. Whirlpool, making your world a little easier.
To build something that endures takes hard-working people. People who care. People with vision. And the strength to see the job through. We know, since 1904, that's how we built a name for ourselves in financial services. Providian. Insurance, credit, and retirement savings.
Want to make lunch where your cleaner cleaned? Or where we use Clorox cleanup?
Mine's fine.
But look what it left behind.
Mine doesn't disinfect?
No, but cleanup with Clorox bleach kills bacteria and viruses, so disinfect while you clean with Clorox cleanup.
We thought it might be appropriate to do some unofficial passing of the torch tonight. Joshua Savin is 12 years old. He's already a three-time veteran of space camp, and he dreams about being the first to go to Mars. Joshua, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you very much. How'd you get interested in the space stuff?
Well, when I was 4 1/2, my mom took me to Florida to see the STS-34 shuttle mission of the Atlantis. And I got up early in the morning, I sat for like 3 1/2 hours, and then I saw it go up, and it was one of the most exciting things that I had ever seen. And
That's when it started.
Yeah, yeah. And then we went back to California, and I saw the same crew land, and I got to meet the crew afterwards.
That's pretty neat.
Uh-huh.
Now, you went to space camp in Alabama?
Yes, 6 times.
What was it like? 6 times?
Yeah.
You're a pro. You could run the place. What was it like? Tell me what you did down there.
Well, mainly they train you to, they teach you about what it's like to be an astronaut, like about, well, what life is like, and, you know, what are some of the things you have to do in terms of the mission. And they teach you a lot of facts. I knew all this trivia and all this stuff when I came home. Mainly, it's a really great time, though. You get to launch model rockets, and they have a simulated shuttle mission at the end, and you get assigned a certain job. I hated my job the first time, but after that, I got a great job.
We've got less than a minute for you to ask a question of either of those two guys on the end.
Okay, to Buzz Aldrin and to Mr. Schmidt, what course did you take, and what course do you suggest that I take in becoming an astronaut?
I think you have to start out with mathematics and move rapidly to astronautics.
Mm-hmm.
And put in a little geology there.
Spoken like a true
If you're going to
geologist.
Mars, the profession of note on Mars will be paleontology.
I would suggest also that you study literature and the arts, because it would be wonderful if you went and you were able to talk about the human experience, the emotion, in a very, very articulate
What are you
literate
implying, Valerie?
As Jack Schmidt did recently in an article.
Well, you all have inspired us, all of us, viewers, me included, tonight with this discussion. And goodness knows, Mr. Aldrin and Mr. Schmidt inspired us in their way many years ago in what they did in space. Thank you all very much, all our guests on the phone, here in our house here in California. I thank you all very much. It's been a pleasure. And I hope each and every one of you have found this conversation as provocative and fascinating as I have. Make it a good evening.